that's bullshit.
Well,
that's bullshit.
time out. Let's just touch that.
You think we stole your guys' idea?
I'd like to think
How
so.
about your alumni?
Well, how about your alumni?
What kind of idiotic question?
That was
always like
office standoff. Now this is what we're doing, Will.
I'll be saying I look old. Are you saying I look old?
me- I
Like
was
fucking
saying-
heat lights in here. It's 1,000 degrees. I ain't want to look
That's what
older
we
in
do.
here. It's
And
fucking
here,
hot.
this is with you.
I know, but you got to stop talking. You have to stop talking.
I heard you.
You have to stop talking.
Waterboard
Why do you have
technique.
UMass as your fucking helmet colors?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Dave. Let's take you
Yep.
down a little journey of
Okay.
science. Maybe you give us more money.
Are you faithful to the boys?
To you guys?
Yeah.
Faithful how?
Guy gets on the bus right now, puts a gun to Will's head, and says, "You got to suck."
This lady, but she runs a million miles per hour behind the counter, like as fast as I've ever seen anyone move. So they can't take more business. They're not even open on the weekends. Probably they'd kill her. So whatever. I already have this place written down. He texts me, he's like, "You're not allowed to go to Joey's." What do you mean I'm not allowed
I
to
ain't
go to
fucking
Joey's?
say that.
You said that.
I said, hey, I'm letting.
Band, it was a private band.
I'm letting you
Yes.
know that Joey's texted me
Says
or
you're not allowed.
DM
Will
that said,
likes to overstep. He
Yes.
does.
I
You
said,
do like to overstep. You
Yeah.
do like overstep.
You do. That was
in what way? What are we talking about? I recommended Joey's on Instagram.
Yeah.
They messaged me, hey, we're so thankful you did this.
Oh.
We would like to respectfully decline
Yeah.
because we do not want the
Decline-
spotlight.
Yeah, but
You
they
can't do- you
can't
can't
decline to you.
Yeah.
Listen, boys,
decline to
Hey,
him.
guy
Boy.
walking down the street, we decline Dave Cummins. Like, what do you mean?
It's like a guy walking down the street and you go, "Hey, where you going?" "Oh, I'm just gonna go over here."
Since I
No,
saw
sorry.
since
That's
I
like a movie being like, we decline to be reviewed. You don't have that choice.
since I
You have
saw
to
the
be- exactly.
message,
That's a
Yeah.
good one. I like that.
since I saw the message,
Sure.
and they know I saw it, I didn't want to not at least relay the message.
So you
that they
texted
said
Dave.
that.
What'd you say?
And he goes,
Well,
they,
you don't get to
He goes,
choose.
they don't get to
Fair
choose.
enough.
I hearted it, and he went to
Yeah, no,
Joey's.
wait, but I was gonna send in Spider, so they didn't recognize me.
Who's Spider?
there? I don't know how you guys haven't met Spider.
Biological
Spider, what's
name?
up,
Oh,
boss?
Spider, I went
He's
up on you on
like
the
our-
bus.
He holds our whole office. I don't know how you guys haven't met.
Well, we do kind of just stay down here, don't we? We've
Well,
only been up
you've been
one
in the
time.
office. You've been in Super Bowl.
Things went well. Things went really
I'm
well.
here. Maybe
Yeah.
the biggest favor I've done.
I would say you're probably right.
No, I was like, absolutely zero effort to make sure. Like, hey, how you getting from like the
That's
airport
that's
to the
bullshit.
bus?
Well,
That's
no,
bullshit.
time out. Well, time out.
That-
Let's just touch that. Let's just touch that right there.
No.
When we met, he goes, he just signed with Penn. He goes, this is my new favorite game. Asking athletes what they make. And then they asked us what we made. And we said what we made. And he goes, make more than that. So when you're going to
I
come
do
down
like
to see
that
us.
game, but still, that has
When you
nothing
wanna
to do
come
with,
see us,
like,
No, hang on.
I don't-
I'm saying bullshit on that because my man wouldn't respond a couple times. I'm like, hey, so what's the deal with Nashville?
Right.
Are you coming?
Right.
Well,
Then
no,
I
it
gotta
wasn't
take-
always Nashville. I
I got to text his sidekick Gaz,
Yeah.
and then Gaz is really Gaz like I'm sitting next to him. Dave knows I've texted him,
Sure.
and I'm having to fucking text with Gaz.
Yeah, that's
Well,
tough.
you getting in Gaz's ear does nothing. He's Gaz basically is heir to me. Like, what is
Gaz told me
if
you were
Gaz
coming
says
before
something-
you
No,
did.
he's necessary to live. Is what he's trying to say.
No, I'm not. I'm saying
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
so Gaz,
Yeah.
you need Gaz
Yeah,
to
yeah,
live.
yeah.
reverse. I've been with him so long. He says something, it doesn't even. It's like I don't even hear it
Yeah.
or begin to hear it.
So he's really employed because he was
Well,
there
he's
from the ground.
employee one. He does his shit, but
He's
it's
like the janitor that stayed with Apple.
Yeah, and gone up the ranks. He's definitely does his thing with social media, but like I don't. If Gaz comes up with like, here's the thing. I'm at the point where I don't need to be like dealing with every little thing, and he comes up with every little thing. It's like I don't fucking care that Nate is fucking barking at this guy. Like you figured out, Paul. So I just tune him out.
That's fair.
Well, Gaz told me that you landed 10, leave at 5. I got a yep.
Yes,
from you.
that's true.
Yeah,
It's a yip.
Yep.
he said yep.
Oh, yup.
He ends up
I
yeah.
thought you said yip, like
No,
I
I
can't throw a
told you
baseball.
10
Said
yip.
five.
we still on for Nashville, and then he ends up
10-5,
saying
of course,
yeah.
I'm here. I didn't know if Paul was coming. That's what Spy Paul's like said. Paul said you guys want him to come. I would have gone to the hockey game if I knew it was a hockey game.
Well,
It's
if I
like,
knew you were, if I knew,
why?
you were
If I knew it was a hockey
Well,
game.
you
told
said
me earlier.
You said you're supposed to come for the weekend. You're like, I might go to the weekend. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it's
That's all you said.
I was thinking
So,
about it.
I feel like
That's a fact. I was thinking about it.
something to cross your mind once.
Taylor
is-
had a
is technically
housewarming
thinking
party
about
over
it.
the weekend.
I did.
I
You could
didn't
have
know
came to
about
that.
that. No one told me about
Well,
that.
I did. You tweeted the thing like, "Oh, thanks for the invite," and I tweeted
Well, I
back
saw
at
you
you.
at the hockey game having the time of your life.
I had a great time. I
Right.
consumed 0 ounces of that
yeah,
beer.
right.
I tweeted at
You
you.
actually maybe did.
No, I didn't consume any.
No, I know.
Unless it soaked into my skin.
I know. And it
Yeah.
was like, yes, I know.
It was everywhere.
When
I'm
consume
rehabbing a
some?
knee. What's
Your
that?
daughter
know
next
what
to you
that
definitely
has to
consumed
do
some
with
beer.
Well, I'm glad you asked, Dave. Let's take you
Yep.
down a little journey of
Okay.
science. Okay.
All right.
So when you drink beer, there's
Yeah.
gluten in it,
Okay.
inflammation,
Yeah.
inflammation during an injury, causes
That's why
swelling.
you didn't drink it?
I didn't drink it for that reason and that reason alone.
Smart.
But I gave the
Quick
people
on
what
your
they
feet.
wanted.
And you
Yeah.
got to drive home.
The tale of two tales, right?
Yeah, the tail, the side of two men. I saw that tweet.
Yeah. Duality, I believe it was.
Duality of men. Man,
Do you
Yeah.
run the main Barstool account?
No, he didn't do that.
what kind of idiotic question?
That
is
was just,
What do you-
I'm sorry. If you wanted to leave right now, I'd have to sell. I have to
I run
agree
the
with you.
spider. Do I run the main account?
Sometimes you need the boy to be on your side, and anytime we get
Jesus.
around some status, it's always the other two versus the
now
one.
we're doing this, and now
Taylor-
we're in the
Taylor
we're
always
in
like-
office standoff.
That'll be-
Now this is what we're doing, Will.
Yeah, that'll be
we
like-
could have done that, but
I
you
was
did
ready
this.
to. You're like,
Oh,
yeah,
I
of
was
course.
here,
That's
and I went
like-
over here for a second to
He
show.
goes, you go. Of
That's
course he doesn't.
asking
It's like
that-
obviously I
But
knew I was
it is.
asking
That's
that.
Well,
like,
why would
hey,
he- why would he
Vrabel,
do
you
that?
like pay the electricity bill?
Oh,
Like, I
if
mean,
Vrabel sits on here,
Vrabel
trust me,
doesn't pay
it's
for shit.
another
Vrabel
2
does
on
not pay
1.
for a damn thing. Look at that body, outstanding.
Did you
That's
feel? Did you
60%.
feel like there was heavy pressure on you because you're the number 2 like lineman to do this stunt in like 10 minutes, like the Islanders game? The guy with the mullet did he did the same exact thing like 10 minutes.
2018 though. Hang on, please go
No, I
back.
know it's
Give him some
18,
credit.
but-
2018.
I'm gonna take you on. I'll just take you on a little
But you
magic
know,
carpet. I'll be your Aladdin.
You know the Islanders guy did it right before you.
Yeah,
did.
no, and that's awesome. You know how he got that idea? You know how all these guys got that idea?
I'm gonna say you probably.
2018 is when they got that idea, and this wasn't even the first one. The first one was all of us holding catfish, chugging a beer. That was outstanding. It was a beautiful thing. Then David Bakhtiari came out. He was at the Milwaukee game. Him and Aaron Rodgers had the back and forth.
Yeah.
He
And then-
consumed it though.
And then he did consume it. He did a great job of that. And then what was it? Baker Mayfield did it at Indians game. Thank you very much. And so it's kind of spiraled from there. But this is,
You're saying
I
you're
would
the
say, this
original.
is the first. I'm the Barstool of chugging a beer as a professional athlete at a sporting event. I mean, I'd go as far to say that right now.
Yeah, I mean, chugging beer probably didn't like come to birth
I didn't
in
invent
2018.
chugging beer. I invented chugging beer in the location.
If he was still with us, we had actually a segment where he'd get challenged at the end of every show to chug a beer.
Really?
Yeah.
At the end of every show.
Yeah, it was
His
game day.
show.
Yeah. Well, it was our college game day show.
Yeah, but it wasn't a sporting event. That's a show.
Well, we were at a football game. It was
Were
a
you in the
pregame-
stadium?
No, we were at a tailgate.
Okay. Well, I think that's kind of just did it, right? Talking
We're not in the
arena,
stadium. Correct.
In the stadium.
Well, if you're in the parking lot, is that it at the stadium?
I feel like if you're bringing energy to the game, like I
Yeah,
would
like
assume
tailgate. That's part of the like at Foxborough, Patriots. That is part of their property. Like you're in the stadium
That's
entering.
true.
Yeah.
Do they own the houses that are also in that neighborhood?
No,
I feel like they own a lot of that.
the Patriots own the mall. There's like a mall right there that
Yeah.
they own, I believe.
There's a
That's
mall,
like Wrigley.
but
Wrigley,
you're-
they own the houses.
But
now.
you're basically when you drive through the neighborhood to get to that stadium, it's
yeah, they don't
outrageous.
They don't own those.
you played there, haven't you?
where.
Patriots?
Yeah, I tell you
That's
what,
cool.
that was when Tom Brady. That was the game where Tom points you out and says 51, and that was like one of my first few starts where you're just like, holy
Were you
shit,
on that
fucking Tom
the
Brady.
year you guys beat us? You beat us in the playoffs.
Is it us still with
No,
actually,
no.
Actually,
This
this
was
a
back
real
when I was on the
question.
Redskins.
Oh, all
Who's
right.
the Redskins?
We don't say that word anymore.
Washington
you
football
grew
team.
up as a Pats
Sorry,
fan.
PFT.
Yes.
Last 20 years,
Yeah.
Tom Brady has been that franchise.
Correct. Right.
You've become good friends with Tom.
I don't know. Good is strong, but
Well,
Until you're at the
if he
Derby.
texts-
Until he's
if
at the
texts-
Derby.
he texts back?
yes.
Okay, then that
Yeah,
I would
Until
say
he's at the
friends.
Derby with him, I would say
Yes.
I've been at Derby with him.
on his plane and stuff.
No, I don't get that. That would be very good friends.
Yeah, I think that would
What
be
kind of
very
plane
good
does he
for-
have? Gulfstream?
No, he actually doesn't have his own. He's a wheels up guy.
Is he a wheels up guy?
Yeah.
I think I did see he's a wheels up. Oh, do you do wheels up?
No, they don't. They never offered me.
How'd you get
Really?
here?
I
Commercial?
fuck no. We get our own plane, but we do it like like I'm just
You're like
and-
brokers?
Yeah, exactly.
You do
I have one
brokers
guy
and
who
you have
gets
them
it.
fight against each other?
No, I have one guy I trust him. Because I fly private all. That's the only thing, literally, that I could never go back to. I don't get money, nothing. Flying private, that's it.
It's
Can
one-
never go back to commercial.
As soon as you jump
I'd
into
rather
that
die
world,
than
it's
go back to
different.
commercial.
I gotta get on a Southwest flight with him on Thursday, and I'm
Oh.
dreading every single second.
Hey, at
of
least
it.
you're A-list.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah,
1
true.
through 30.
True.
Thank you.
True.
I got the
You
1
know,
through
that's the
30.
only thing that I couldn't do. Everything else I could care less. But going through security, and I'm one of those guys I go through. I never had TSA because I get so mad at myself when I'm in it, and then when I'm through it, I'm like, that wasn't that bad. But then I get mad, like I go through that cycle.
Every time you go into security, you're like, I got to do this.
Yeah, and then when you're through security, you're like, forget it. I won't be flying anytime
It's
soon.
past you.
Yeah.
So Tom goes to Tampa Bay. Now, has your allegiance spread away from the Patriots at all? Or are you still
If the
diehard? You're
Patriots
there.
played the Bucks, I'd want the Patriots to beat them by 100.
That's happening this year, right?
They are a regular season game.
That
Yeah.
game's going to be tough for the Pats. It's going to be a tough one.
Well, I mean, they're the
I
Super
think
Bowl
Tampa-
champs.
Well, yeah, but they were the Super Bowl champs 3 years ago. You know?
Yeah, and like the
They have,
49ers
they
won
have
the
Cam
Super Bowl in
Newton,
the
who was an
80s.
MVP.
Like,
But I'm saying Tom is Tom, and you got Antonio Brown.
I mean,
and
I
you got
want to go
Mike
to that game.
Evans and
Like that'll be
Gronkowski.
one of the great welcome backs. There's no ill will towards them, so I want to be in there to welcome them back.
You don't think there'll be any boos?
No ill will.
No,
I don't think so.
You
either.
won't be in there booing.
no chance. No
All right.
chance.
Yeah,
6 Super Bowls. How can
Tom's outstanding.
And I think there is a degree that most people believe it. If it's kind of like a power struggle with Belichick and him, and I have no problem. I think that once the Garoppolo thing happened, the way I think it, and I have no concrete, but I'm pretty sure Belichick wanted to trade, I think, Brady and keep Garoppolo, and Kraft stepped in. And he's
drama got involved.
Yeah, and we're gonna keep Brady, and they won another Super Bowl. But that was the rupture. I think from that point on, Brady's like, once I'm done, I'm gone, and I don't blame him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that happens too with all those big dynasties.
I mean,
like the Cowboys in the
Eventually it's
90s.
gotta end.
People figuring out, okay, who's really this,
Honestly,
who's really the face of this, and people get pissed off.
And quarterbacks, Aikman not being one of them, but Montana played for a different team. Favre played for a different team. Yeah. So, I mean, it happens all the time.
Favre did it the weirdest of everybody, though.
Well, he kept retiring.
He just jumping in, jumping in and out, and then all this stuff. The
now he's really trying to jump in, like with all of his hot takes.
Yeah, what's he doing? He got a podcast now?
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing I will thank you for is when we went to the Super Bowl down in Miami, we were on your show, and you said, we're the first player-driven podcast. And he said, by the year's end, there'll be at least 3 more. And I think it was exactly 3 more.
I'm not sure how many actually
in the NFL.
In the NFL.
There's a couple more in the NFL.
I mean,
Patrick Peterson has one. Him and
Patrick Peterson, when did they get one? Before us or after
recently,
us?
after.
Yeah.
We're the first. We're the first in the space. Active
without
NFL
a doubt.
players.
And you guys have a dynamic that gives you sort of an advantage. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't want this to come across as an
It depends
insult.
on what do you mean by sort of an advantage and what kind of dynamic we're talking about? Like our chemistry as friends?
There's a couple things that get going on. First, you guys, you do that in solidarity, or like you have a bad
He's
knee too?
looking out for me.
Okay.
He cares about me so much.
Solidarity.
Yeah, solidarity.
So the dynamic obviously works.
Mhm.
Your player, my concern always with player podcast is you're still in the league. You got to sometimes worry what you say because you get fined, team, whatever. You're in and out. That is where the part where it could be insulting. It's not meant to be, but you're very focused.
Oh, I know. I love it.
You're very focused on the podcast. So
Very focused.
you need the dynamic, and then you need somebody who's on the podcast who's very focused on the podcast or has no chance.
Yeah.
And it's hard because, again, who wouldn't want a player who just slings it in the league? But it doesn't matter the sport. It's hard to do that.
If there was 2 Taylors on this podcast, this would be a dud. It wouldn't work because Will, from day one, has been grinding this thing out.
Correct. Exactly.
Has been crushing it.
Right. I agree with that.
And it'd be unfair for me to my job that I have to go and only focus on the podcast because then I get fired from my other job
Correct.
and it makes this less important, like
well, yeah, but
less positive anyway.
So you guys have almost a
priorities
perfect
and seeing,
dynamic.
like which one,
It's nice.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
really nice.
I appreciate that.
I like what we have.
I like to hold the hand there. Like, who's the guy who just went nuts on the NFL, the wide receiver? He was screaming at somebody the other day.
Someone was screaming at wide receiver?
No,
Anybody
he
know
was
that?
former wide receiver. He was on Inside the NFL, played for the Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I am athlete.
Yeah, he does that.
He was always outspoken, but he's not doing that if he's in playing in the league. I don't think going crazy like that.
He I don't know what his deal is. I think he came out as bipolar.
It's borderline personality.
It's a what?
It's borderline personality.
What does that mean? Borderline here, borderline there?
Yeah, I think he can get. I'm not exactly sure, but my ignorance is saying that he can get triggered easily. Like he can get swayed. He can have ups and downs a lot.
So he's like the half of America.
I mean, I think it's a little farther than that.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to be insensitive. Also, that was an insensitive joke. But I mean, what is it? I don't know what that means. It's like getting triggered too fast. I get triggered pretty easily.
Yeah,
you know?
Well,
Well,
never
if
know.
someone knows
You go
everything,
in,
you could
get a
have
little
it. That's like Adderall,
Yeah. True.
like ADD.
I know he's a big mental health advocate because he goes to therapy. He's
our
big
whole
on
office.
doing all that
Our
stuff.
whole office is a bunch of mental health advocates. It's great.
Oh yeah, you guys got a lot going on, especially over the past year too.
Wow, what's going on?
I don't know, people coming in and out about all the health stuff.
Yeah.
What health stuff?
Like Kirk Minihane. I don't know.
Oh, he's a crazy person.
I don't know him at all.
no.
I know when he got onboarded.
Yeah, no, he's a legit insane asylum. He's a walking insane asylum. Like he'll go off the deal. He'll have to check himself into
That's what I'm saying.
dark
He'll
thoughts.
battle.
Who is this?
last
Can you
year.
pull this guy up? Who
Give
is
him
this?
credit though.
Kirk Minihane.
Give him credit. You can be like, "Hey, Kirk, don't kill yourself," and he'll laugh at it. But he may.
He's right there.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if you say that joke because you're
No,
like,
I am. Everything. Who are these guys back
That's
here?
kinda-
Crashing
that's what I
around,
was
they
telling
just
you.
bang around.
That's
Is
a real- when
is
you
that
leave-
part of the show?
We're gonna handle it
Every
we're
now
gonna
and
handle
then,
it well right
somebody
now,
press
but
the
when you
button, like
leave, we're gonna
crash.
fucking roll on them.
We
dude.
used to be next to a
That's
railroad
probably
and a
boss.
train
Oh, was
would
that a
come
trophy?
by.
That was our trophy.
I
We
like
win a
that.
lot of awards.
I like
in
that.
Nashville.
I like that. Adds to like the realness of it. You
Yeah.
press a button, someone's
you
just
just wait
bump
till-
into something.
We'll just wait till 12 minutes in this podcast. It's off.
Kirk was like going at it back and forth. I want to say either with you or Erika or something last year. And then he was also big in the whole cancel culture thing. And the next thing you know, he's going after everybody's throat.
Sure.
The next thing I know, he's fucking checked in to rehab.
Sounds about like Kirk. Super
Then he comes
talented.
back.
I love Kirk, by the way.
Yeah.
Super talented, but he's a loony bin.
I'm just saying,
Some of
like
the best ones are.
you go that hard at people, like what? Then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, it's just you can't do it.
No, you can go back at him. It really doesn't have anything to do with that. He just goes to a dark place at times that he openly is like, I can't explain it. I haven't. This is even before he's with us. Like, we knew that. We knew that hiring him, that he has real mental health issues.
How long ago did you hire him?
2 years ago. And it's been great. Like, everyone's like, he won't be able to like work anywhere long term. But, well, you guys probably know we don't. All right, Kirk, you want to go into, figure shit out, go do it. You will be here when you get back. You want to rip somebody, fine, you get ripped, but he's a unique guy, talented. But he's definitely got demons.
Interesting. He's an interesting cat.
Super talented. And he can take it.
I gotta see this.
Like,
But
he
see,
doesn't-
to
he doesn't-
me, how can he take it? If it's,
Wi-Fi's down.
What pushes him into it isn't going back and forth. That's almost when he likes it. Like, he could be in you'd think he's a great space, hasn't battled back and forth with anybody, be like, oh, I'm having those thoughts. They're not correlated to you. Like, he likes going back and forth. That's not what sends him over the edge. Who knows what it is? It's issues I think he was born with.
Gotcha.
Now, his issues, I would say, are more, I didn't know this turned into the Kirk Minihane hour, but his issues are definitely real. And I can't, and we just let him do his thing. He comes back. But when he comes back, he's healthy. You can bust his balls about, be like, I don't want to say anything, Kirk. I don't want to send you back to that institution. And he'll laugh.
He'll laugh about it.
Yeah. Or he'll say, like, I hope you die. But it's all in good fun.
Yeah.
Until it's not.
Until it's not.
Yeah. Until it's like,
But it's like ride that wave until it's not.
Correct.
Kind of what it is, right?
yeah.
I've never worried about saying anything to him. There's some people at our company, I'm like, oh, I just avoid. It's like, I don't know where their line is. Kirk has no line. So I appreciate that.
It seems like you've kind of treated your entire business like that in a way, like where there's no line for you. You kind of just keep
If
going.
I think you have a line, I just stop dealing with you now.
That's
Like,
good.
Our company has changed from when it was just me, Paul, one, like our original Milton office, which grew from me and Paul to like 15 people.
Yeah.
That was probably very equivalent to a like sports team locker room. You could say anything.
Yeah.
You could scream at somebody. Nobody took anything personally. You could fucking, ream somebody out. Nobody's like, you're worried about reporting you or anything. It was just, anything went. Different times, bigger office. I don't know everybody as well as I used to. So if I think you may be like insulted, I just don't deal with you.
You're just out.
Yeah, like
Do you think it's because there's so many people now or because of the time we're living in right now?
both.
Yeah.
Both.
I can understand that for sure.
I used to be like, it's hard to imagine. I don't know. We're 250 people. I don't know all of our employees. All right. There's this story I remember where I was walking out to get a lunch. A guy walked back. He was walking towards me. I was walking the other way. And he was wearing a Barstool hat. And I was like, thanks for the support. Turns out he worked for us. He was going right back to the office.
He's going back for
He
it.
went back to the office. He told me, he's like,
Hey, Stooley, appreciate the support, man.
That's pretty much what I did. He's like, bro, I'm in accounting.
That's fucking awesome.
If you had the growth that you've had with Barstool, if you had to draft 5 people with Barstool,
Currently who are with us now or like that we don't have?
All
let's
time.
just let's
go
say all time.
Yeah. 5 people that you're like, I gotta restart this whole thing over.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like
I
that.
mean,
You're
Big
welcome.
Cat clearly would be there. Kevin's been huge for us. So, I got really lucky because our early guys were phenomenally successful. It's weird, but Alex from Call Her Daddy is a fucking monster. People don't get how big she is.
That's been a
Yeah,
nice,
she
that's been a
is
nice
huge.
roller coaster ride for you guys,
I
hasn't
mean,
it?
yeah, I mean, people don't get she's as big as Rogan. She really is. Like,
How
everyone
many
knows
she
her.
gets millions like that, like Rogan?
Millions.
Influence like Rogan though?
She can do $1 million of merch overnight if she wants to.
If she wants to.
Yep. So like
She does a great job, like with her fans too. Like if you click through her story and shit, like she's on top of everything, and she does like every job.
Colleges, like college, every girl in like a sorority or goes to college knows who she is. I mean, it's insane. So she's obviously been good. The Chicklets guys. All right. So we got Alex, Kevin,
Big
Dan. Yeah, I mean Dan, no doubt. So there's 3, and we're just doing content here.
Yeah, I don't need an accountant guy to do everything. Just like who you want as personalities, we'll get all those stuff in the behind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, obviously it's back and forth. McAfee was huge. He's not with us anymore. It would have been good. I don't know that we could have ever kept that together the right way.
Why do you think he couldn't have kept it together?
Because McAfee like came to us and learned the ropes. He went to like school basically, but he had his own huge. The only thing we could have done differently with McAfee, which I don't know that you even want to do it this way, has been like, listen, anybody that we hire on your behalf, they work for us. They don't work for you. So if you split, you can't take them all, because he basically, when he left, he had a ready-made business with a lot of guys that he probably wouldn't have had if it wasn't for us. Mm-hmm. So that made it very easy for him, but he didn't need us because he's already like a huge star, you know, and he came to us as a star, and then he learned the ropes and we took him to the next level. But it's really hard when you can do it. Like, what are we bringing to the table? You want to do ESPN? You want to do the wrestling? It gets hard. How do you make it so both parties are making money? He was right. It's kind of like Alex at a certain degree at some point. But it's different when you come to us as a star, which he did. Yeah. Just like the Chicklets, like Biz came to us as a star. He had 1 million followers when he came.
Where was he at when he came to you guys? He just retired.
He did his comedy tour. He had a comedy tour. He was all-pro punter.
He could get
I know he's an all-pro punter. I know he did some comedy, but
no, he could get hired.
An all-pro punter doesn't make you a superstar, and it's no shot against Brett Kern, our punter, but he's an all-pro guy.
Yeah. Well,
but
no,
he's not going to go off and make a show right now.
He was super talented, but networks, they've evolved a tiny bit, but they're stupid. Like I said to him right away, it's like, if you're retiring and really want to do it, you have a job here. Like you fit in personality wise. But I'm almost positive he applied to all the networks. He got nowhere. They're like, no, fuck it, you got no experience.
Isn't that
no background.
Just wild?
Yeah, they don't see it.
He should be doing commentating during NFL. Easily.
They just don't see it.
He does these low D1 schools, not to be disrespectful to like a Toledo or something like that, but he does like a Toledo.
He may slowly move it up. He may slowly, but they never, they don't think. I mean, that's a lot of our success is due to the fact that networks are so old school. Like Bill Simmons, who I've had my differences with, but when I grew up in Boston, that's when he was just locally in Boston. He was the best writer I'd ever read. Like he was so much better than anything else. Couldn't get a job at the local paper because he didn't have the right, like the traditional way to go through it. Goes to ESPN, explodes, and he's fucking a superstar. But there's this old mentality that you have to come from a network. You have to have this degree, that degree. And we didn't care. It's like, oh, this guy's funny. We don't care what you do. And we got talent nobody else would get. So that's helped us. So McAfee, I would say, you know, Biz and Ryan Whitney is awesome, but he made a lot of money playing hockey. So that's another thing that we run into. If somebody has a ton of money already, dude, this is a grind. Like
that extra mile move. Yeah. It's got to be.
It is. It makes a lot
of money.
It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, because you're grinding to try to make a life out of it
nonstop. Like you have to be doing this nonstop.
And that's a lot of people don't realize. I don't know what this is. There.
Yeah, you guys had a little
yeah. So he used to play, he made probably 20-30 million in the NHL, and he's from my neck of the woods. So what are you
doing there? What's that move?
They're arguing about fucking soccer or something.
Yeah, he's never watched a soccer game in his life. He came in suddenly pretended to be the biggest soccer fan. Yeah, so he was giving our soccer guy fellatio.
That's a big dick.
That's a huge dick right there.
He was giving the soccer guy. So he's been a fan from day one. He used to say we could thank him for the NHL support because he got cut every year and kept taking it to different locker rooms.
Well, it seems like Barstool is one of the things that have like continually evolved. And like when COVID hit, everyone goes, oh, fuck. But instead, it seemed like Barstool just kept going in an outrageous form. And obviously, steamheaded by you start doing the unboxing, which was ridiculous. It's an hour of, you're like, why would I watch some guy unbox presents?
5 hours.
And this shit was hilarious. It was awesome. The pizza reviews, it seems you're always going. Where do you see these other networks, these traditional networks? Because ESPN a couple years ago had to lay off 100 people. They're kind of like, you know, when you and I grew up, or you and I, you're like twice us, but like when you and I grew up, ESPN was like the biggest thing. You turn it on, you watch the top 10, all that. I'm 29.
How old are you?
When you graduated college, I was 6.
Not twice.
come on now.
1.5?
You're 15 years older than us.
29, that's 30.
We're different
that's
generations.
60.
We're different Jennies.
That's 15.
Hey, listen, we can talk about this in a second. Go and pop
Yeah,
this
we
up
got
real quick.
a. You want to get this one?
I'll hit this one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Oh, we're doing Chevy?
Yeah,
we
this
haven't done
podcast
Chevy
is
at
brought
all.
to you by Chevy. Thank you, Barstool, the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. Silverado is strong, advanced, dependable, and hardworking and redundant. Why? Because the people that get in the vehicle, those guys are redundant because they go to work every single day and they work it out. That's why these ads are also redundant. The design is big, it's bold, it's commanding. The truck turns heads. You get a kink in your neck when you do that. All right, when you're Dave's age and you hit the kink
Twice.
yeah,
I don't know about
that'll
twice.
put you bedside for a while. No more pizza
29
reviews
plus
for the boys.
Times 2 is 58.
There's so many things you can do with it. Will, would you like to take us off on what you can do in the Silverado?
Tailgating, hauling, whether you want to haul that new boat, that would be towing, but haul new big screen TV, couch to watch the game, tailgate equipment, whatever you need, the Chevy's got it. Off-roading, moving day, maybe you don't want to do moving day and you want to throw the keys to your mom and dad or your friend that want to go help with moving day. Road trips, all of it. The Chevy Silverado, go to the closest dealership near you, let them know that the boys sent you.
The boys sent you.
Go experience the US of A in a Chevrolet.
Oh, that's
Back to
beautiful.
the episode.
Did you make that up or was that on the thing?
No, I heard that one today.
You know I'm a terrible reader.
I heard that
so
one
I
today.
wasn't keeping up with
on
you.
one of my master classes.
Yeah.
Have you heard of master class?
No, I haven't.
You heard of master class?
I think
Sounds like
so.
a video game thing.
Yeah, I was listening to this guy who does like persuasion and sales.
I don't trust anybody who listens to that shit though.
That's all right.
Well, looks like you guys. Here we are again.
Persuasion
I
and
don't.
sales. He had this thing. He was talking about all the like pitches, and he was talking about rhyming.
Do you
and he
believe
brought up
that though?
Chevrolet.
Like
He
someone's
brought up
like,
Chevrolet.
Jingles?
like someone's gonna give you a class on how to be like a sales expert. Like somebody offered me $100,000 to go speak at some like I don't know what it was, an excellence conference where you go in and you tell everyone how it's like I can't. I like $100,000, but I can't do that in good conscience. Like, what are you talking about? Like, well, I'm gonna impart some magic wisdom on somebody.
No, are we at the Excellence? Are we at a resort in Mexico?
I think excellence and master is that. How's that
Yeah,
level?
that's how I view. Like, I don't trust inspirational speakers.
Well, I heard that. Who's the guy with the big
It's
hands?
a hot take.
Huge
I
hands,
feel
big
like-
face.
I
He
feel
was in
like
Shallow Hal. What's his name?
Tony Robbins.
Tony
Don't
Robbins.
trust him
I
at
heard
all.
I heard
Dude,
that
he's-
guy's a big pyramid cat. I heard he's a big pyramid guy.
And I was in there
if you
building the
buy
pyramid.
this,
I'm
you
in there
help
building the
people,
pyramid.
and then they pick the good
I'm
one
buying
out.
Listen, I have no
I'm
problem.
buying the
I-
books.
Get the bottom of the pyramid. I'm all for it, but I don't trust. There's nothing. I don't know. I don't trust people just pep talks and that shit.
Have you really tried hustling though? If you haven't failed in network marketing,
No, but that's different. That's hustling.
that's the pyramid stuff.
yeah,
though,
right.
Network marketing?
That's like the
Yeah.
old juice, like the acai juice or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You come home and be like, "Hey, mom, dad, we got to go to the closest hotel. It's on Thursday night. We're about to get fucking
Yeah,
rich."
right, yeah.
You're like, son, take a seat. Like, let's talk about this. I'm like, listen, if I just get Johnny and Tim and Sean,
that's
if
it.
they get them on board,
I
we're
think
getting
pyramid
rich.
schemes should be legal. You should just know you're in them. It's like then you just roll the dice. Get out is no different than gambling.
Yeah.
You know you're in it. Get out when you get out. If you get held fucking holding your dick, then you're screwed.
I'm not against that at all.
So you wouldn't throw
Legalized
on.
pyramid schemes. You heard it here first. I'm busting with the boys.
What's wrong with it?
Listen,
You can gamble.
I don't know enough about business to even get in this conversation. I know that it goes starts at the bottom
this.
and it goes
Have
like
you ever
this.
seen the game? Were you like a old like Price is Right guy? Like
I watched Price is Right a little
the
bit.
yodeler going up, and
Yeah.
you just gotta press it before he stops yodeling or he
Yeah.
falls off. That's all it is.
That's
Yeah.
the move. What about it's illegal?
Because
don't-
somebody's gonna get caught holding the bag at the end.
Yeah. So if I
Because an
make
actual
10
pyramid-
I think 10
it is
items,
An actual pyramid scheme is just moving money, mailbox money.
but a lot of times
There's
the
not a
products
real
are
product.
fake, so
It's like a
they're
Wolf
like,
of Wall
hey,
Street
this will
type
make you
deal.
fucking get younger, but it doesn't. But they need the product, right?
Alex, will you remind us what we were talking about before we had
Tony
the-
Robbins.
Oh, I don't trust
No,
them.
before
I was
it
a
before
big
the ad.
in college, huge. When I was transitioning
Well,
from
we had
college to the
ages.
NFL.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Yeah,
I
you
was
said you're
big in
twice my age.
I was
You're
big into
29.
the.
Well, yeah, I
YouTube.
know, but listen, math, right? I was a
58.
general studies major.
59-40.
Yeah.
59-44 is quite different.
You're 44.
Yes.
You don't look bad for 44. I'll give you that.
I can't tell those back.
Nope.
I'm just saying you can see it a little bit in your skin.
He's just tan.
No, I know. I feel like that's what plays a role
he's
into
got
it.
like
He lives in
a
the sun.
Jimmy Buffett,
Yeah, but
like
you can't
spends a lot of time on the
tan it.
beach vibe.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
No,
the guy's
he
been
does.
outside a lot in his life.
Sorry, I
You know
like
what
to be
I'm saying?
tan.
If you
I'd
looked
rather
at-
tan
if
than
you
work out.
looked
No question.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I'm
Tatted,
just
toned,
saying.
or tan. Those are the three options you
I'm
have
just-
to look good.
What are you saying? I look old? Are you saying I look old?
If you guys let me speak for
If
a
you're
second.
going to do this, you got to
Well,
stand your
you-
ground. I'll go with you.
I know, but you got to stop
heard
I'll go
talking.
with
You have
I'll
to
go
stop
with you.
talking.
No,
I
but
heard
I'm
you.
You have
saying-
to stop
I'm just saying,
talking.
I'm on your back pocket right now.
Yeah, I heard you speak.
If
You
you-
said if you look at my skin,
If you
can see
look
it.
at
That's no
Dave
good.
and say, "How old do you think he is?"
I'd
You're
say-
easily saying in your 40s.
Okay, yeah, I could say in his 40s.
So yeah, that's not no compliment. Easily in my 40s, I guess, is what I'm at.
Yeah, for
So he's
sure,
on par.
mid 40s.
Let's not change
You're
the
a
fact you
scratch
said
golfer of
59.
life.
What?
You're on par of what we would think you'd
Oh,
be at.
I think most people guess below 40.
No, who?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Oh, well, fucking walk down the street and ask people. I bet I win.
I bet you
I don't
wouldn't.
think
I
so.
bet I would.
You bet, hey, do I look less than 40? If you just said that, people would be
You're
like,
just gonna
okay.
say, how old is this guy?
Guess my age.
Well, younger people are going to be nice because they're going to say, well, this old man's looking for a compliment. That's what
Young people aren't nice.
Younger people you
Nobody's
put on the
nice.
spot.
Nobody's nice.
Younger people you put on the spot right
Well, what
now.
are you gonna say? How are you gonna say it? How old do I look? I probably
Yeah, I
got
was
fucking
saying-
heat lights in here. It's 1,000 degrees. Anyone would look
That's what
older
we
in
do.
here. It's
And
fucking
here,
hot.
This is how we
it's like a
fucking
waterboard
grind.
Why do you have
technique.
UMass as your fucking helmet colors?
What do you mean?
It's
This
the
is
design, it's
part
the
of the
original
deal.
design.
It looks like UMass.
And listen, in the excellence class and the master's class, you can learn how to deflect just like that. So
I'm
the
not
thing we were talking
deflecting. Deflect. It
well,
started with
it was a
you
bit of a
saying I look
deflect.
like I was 59.
It was a bit of a deflect.
Yeah, math guy.
Wait, hang on. He said you looked 59?
No, he said
I'm saying
I'm twice his
double.
age.
He's really doubling down on you twice our age. When I'm not going to sit there when I'm trying to be in the middle of a conversation and go, he's 1.35 our age. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that.
I'm older.
Yeah.
Nothing better
You know,
than
different
spring chicken.
generation.
nothing better than being around a couple guys who love to argue.
Well, I'm just saying, we're ticky-tacky money details. Hey, listen, you're a handsome guy. There's no question about it.
Ticky-tacky is not when someone says you're twice their age, which would be 60. I'm not close to 60.
58. That's ticky-tacky.
That's
50,
ticky-tacky.
yeah, that's
correct.
ticky-tacky.
You were
58 is what it'd
ticky-tacky,
be.
me taking umbrage with you saying I'm twice your age, not ticky-tacky.
Yeah, but it's like it's more of like a phrase than it is actually.
Yeah, but it's just wildly inaccurate.
So anyway, Dave's 60, and
Yeah.
I'm wondering, in your old age, how you feel about these networks, how ESPN had to drop off like 100 people at a time, and Barstool's been able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in school 2013. I can't get into one of your guys' parties in Ann Arbor, words, right? And now, fast forward 12 years, and you guys are still dominating at a high level.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is with the evolving? How have you been able to stay ahead of the curve? Do you
I think it's probably, if I had to say, the thing I'm most proud of is that we've been kind of cool and edgy now for almost 2 decades, which is really hard to do, especially in media. But we hire younger people who keep us like relevant and on top of things. And again, we don't have these preconceived notions. Like I readily admit I don't know a lot of what, younger people are into, but we'll adapt and we'll find people who do know. And we let people try anything. Like you guys probably said, we're just hands off. It's
Try
like
things twice.
we will let people do whatever they want to do. So that's probably it. If you have people saying, no, you can't do this, can't try that, can't do that, you may miss on a lot of things that you should be doing.
Yeah.
So we just pivot quickly. We'll see what works. And if it works, we'll go to it.
Yeah, I think everybody, even Barstool, I'm sure everyone felt the struggle from the pandemic. So you guys were very much like big cat with the college football.
I mean, that's
you doing
insane.
all the shit, like taking the
Yeah.
frozen pizzas, like learning how to adapt and have those pivots obviously doesn't come easy. It takes like fucking people who understand that and grinders, but like you guys grinded when that shit happened.
Yeah. And none of it was planned. Like everything that, for like what I did during COVID, the unboxing, totally unplanned. It's just, all right, for whatever reason, I saw that it was working. We did it. The Caller Daddy split, that was huge. That was obviously unplanned. We didn't want that to happen. The Trump interview
DDGT
was
or whatever.
huge. The finance, never planned on doing finance, but sports went away and we started gambling. The Trump interview, they called me like the day before. I didn't ask for that. That wasn't planned. That became
They
big.
reached out to you?
Yeah, they
to do
reached out
that?
to me. And then
Because you didn't tell Big Cat.
Well, I know that whole thing. That I actually want to let's put something in that because I
Pause.
want to talk about that.
Okay.
In the Trump interview, comedy and politics are really tough to mix
Yep.
unless it's comedy making fun of
Sure.
politics. Barstool is absolutely a comedy built on
Yep.
comedy. What did you think? What did you think at the time when they reached out to you? Like, what was that thought process like for you? Because it's obviously going to get clicks, right? Donald
Yeah.
Trump could still be, if he wasn't banned or whatever, the
Yeah.
hottest talking piece in all
Yeah.
of social media.
Yeah.
And is that where your head kind of went with it? Is just clicks here?
A lot of it's clicks. A lot of it's like people, for me, have already made up their mind what they think about me, and a lot of respects on what they think about Barstool. Doesn't matter. It's like a quote someone said to me the other day. The people who don't like me, like if I walked across water, they'd be like, that's just because you can't swim. Like they just don't like
Yeah.
me. It doesn't matter what it is. So it's like, you know what? When I thought about the Trump thing, it's like, I'm not going to win back. The people who don't like me don't like me. This is going to be one of the biggest things I've ever done. And again, not to keep doing quotes, but I really look at Barstool as like Michael Jordan, like blue states, red states, buy sneakers. Like, I don't fucking care. Everyone like Barstool as much as we can, get the brand out there and fucking, whether it's sell t-shirts, do whatever, it's good.
Yeah.
And the amount of people who would listen and maybe like, ooh, we kind of like this guy, far outweighed for me any blowback on people who politics truly, Trump specifically, like broke so many people's minds. Like it didn't matter with what they thought or if you met them. It's like if you didn't say you hate them, they couldn't get over it. They thought you like the devil. So, in the end, I I thought about the brand. My dad despises Trump.
Yeah.
Fucking hates him.
Do you tell Trump that?
What I did, I had my I actually
You FaceTimed him, right?
I FaceTimed him. I
No
told
shit.
Trump, I go, my dad fucking hate. I didn't say fucking. I said, my dad hates you. He doesn't know I'm here. I'm going to FaceTime and put him on.
What did he
My-
say to that?
He said, do it. Trump said, do it. My dad cowered. My dad panicked.
No, he didn't.
My dad has
God,
been.
that's a tough
my
left for
dad,
Mr. Portnoy.
my dad has forever been like, if I ever talk to him, I'm going to say this. He was nice and cordial.
So you had those things on your mind when you called.
Yeah. I was like, I knew I wanted to catch him off guard. But before I called my dad. I'm like, what do you think? He's like, you have to do it. It's the president of the United States. And when I say my dad hates him more than, and it's like, so I would do anything. If the president of the United States, I don't care who it is, asks you to do an interview, you go. That was my
Right.
thought.
It's like if you win a national championship or a,
I would go for that. Yep.
yeah, depending on whether you're blue or red.
Yeah, I would go no matter what. But I would never be like, hey,
You
someone-
should also go.
if someone
Yeah.
doesn't want to go, that's your choice. I would go. So yeah, it was something I felt like I had to do. And, it did cause some controversy at Barstool. And I get Dan's point on it. Dan was primarily like, you should have told me before. And I wish we did. I wish we did. Now, what would have happened if he forbid me? Then it would have
Well, then you would have gone for sure.
but then what? Then it would have been a much probably bigger problem, because this way in a weird way, he didn't know. So after the fact, he didn't know. But I get what he's saying too, because he doesn't like him. And obviously he's gone now, but Barstool does get painted unfairly because no other network really does this. I don't know if you guys run into it. Like if you work at ESPN or the New York Times, if the Times say something or somebody at ESPN, they don't generally equate it to every person at the network. A lot of times with us, they do. It's like, well, Dave did this, so now everybody at Barstool's like that. The truth of the matter is, we're probably like more liberal than anything at Barstool. We have people who believe anything, and we let them say what it is.
From every walk of life,
Correct.
too. Because people were getting mad at us because like, oh, you're affiliated with Barstool. Like, we love you guys, but we're not going to listen to shit. And it's just like, I don't know what to fucking tell
Right.
you.
What do you tell? And it's almost become a joke within Barstool because we've heard it. Well, I like Bussin' with the Boys, but I don't like Barstool. I like the Chicklets guys, but they don't stand for Barstool. I like Alex Cooper, but they don't stand for Barstool. I like PMT, but they don't stand. It's like you just named everybody at the company.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you going to do? That's the beauty of it. There's something for everybody, and we don't tell people what to think. And there's never we never cross the line to like hate. It's always to make people laugh. And if you don't like somebody, fine, but there's something for everybody. So, I've just come to it is what it is. You can't change some people's minds.
We had Josh Wolf on the podcast, and he like a Jewish comedian, and he was making Hitler jokes and walked in here and thought a bunch of Germans were going to come and get him type of comedy.
Phil and I just kind of
And we're like, we got jobs. We're like, yeah, that's fucking Jewish people, right? It's one of those things where, like, the beautiful thing about comedy is it's one thing that, for whatever reason, it's on limits for everything. You can kind of go dive in everything. Obviously, there's a line everywhere, but that is one of those things I think that you can kind of sneak by, and especially with stand-up comedians.
I've always
stand-up comedians
said
can say whatever they want.
When the people who really don't like us, I equate. They go to a comedy show to see a comedian. They didn't buy a ticket. They don't know who the comedian is. They walk into the show. They hear a joke they don't like. They walk out into the street and be like, "You'll never believe what this guy's saying," and they don't give any context to like where they heard it.
That makes a lot of sense. The big cat thing. That's a good point you brought up, because you kind of feel like you should always tell who the top
And he's
5
been
guys
with
were
forever.
Yeah,
Yep.
and if like Pat leaving was one thing, but Pat came and went. I don't know how long he was with.
He was there.
But Dan's a staple.
Lifer,
he is he's a foundation piece in Barstool. And it's always better to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission.
And it wasn't even consciously like thought that way. It happened like instantly.
Yeah.
Like I found out I was in Nantucket, I think on a Wednesday. I found out Wednesday night we're interviewing him Thursday. Like it was that fast.
You flew in that day.
Yeah, flew in the morning and did it. So it wasn't some long, hey, we got to keep on the loop. It was really very fast. And he found out, I think originally I was trying not to let my dad know because I wanted to surprise him, and it leaked, and I hadn't told anybody because I didn't want my dad to spoil the joke.
Yeah.
How did it leak? Because you didn't tell anybody. So
Somebody,
obviously his camp did. Was it Spider?
There was Trista, but I don't know how she knew.
Trista, your own
Trista
camp.
Kirk?
Trista works for us.
Yeah, we know Trista. She's written for us a few times.
So do you get mad at something like that if Trista's somebody
I
that
was
works
mad.
for you? You were pissed at her?
Yeah, I was. She didn't know I was trying to hide it. No one knew I was going to do it.
Yeah.
But so I
She
just
was
was keeping
being like reporter, like
I
be the
just
breaker.
dead, and she was on the radio with my dad, and she was like, "I think your dad's like in Washington," and he's like, "What are you talking about?" So I don't know how she knew, but there were probably a group of 5 of us who were there. So somebody somehow got out, maybe a picture or whatever.
Time to do an ad read.
Got to pay these bills.
Do you have water down here?
Shout out Bare Bottom Clothing. No free shout outs. Bare Bottom Clothing does things differently. Founded on the principle that comfortable, made to last menswear shouldn't cost you an arm and a leg. Their 5-star rated shorts, swim trunks, and tees have gained a cult-like following of thousands of guys. What did I say?
No, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, thousands of guys who have made Bare Bottom the MVP of their closets. I think you've enjoyed the Bare Bottom.
I've enjoyed the Bare Bottoms. I put them on. It's like got a cottony feel, but they stretch nice and they don't shrink when you put them in the washer and dryer.
You FaceTime me and be like, hey, I finally opened one of those packages that you gave me.
Will brings me things all the time, and I'm like, should I use these or not? I put the Bare Bottoms on, and once you know it, my boys inside were really happy.
The internet's best deal on high quality and versatile menswear. You can get 2 pairs of their best selling stretch shorts plus their antimicrobial.
That's perfect.
Antimicrobial and moisture wicking tech tee for under $100. Price right every day, so you don't have to wait around all year for sales. Right now, our listeners get free shipping on their first order of these super comfortable threads at barebottomclothing.com with code BUSSIN. That's BUSSIN. Go to barebottomclothing.com. That's BEAR, like the animal, bottomclothing.com, and use code BUSSIN to get free shipping on your first order. All right, boys. What we got next?
You skipped a lot of bullets.
I think I get to pick a couple, right?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you don't gotta do them all.
You just wait until I got to do one of those. I'm a terrible reader.
We
have a lot of fun with
other topics.
You're up next. You get to read the ad next.
Oh, I do the next.
Yeah,
ad?
we always like let the guests
do you
get in.
upsell for that?
What's that?
You upsell for that?
That's
Feel
actually
like the big
between you
dogs
guys
coming
and you guys. So we just get the ads. You run that, right? You run all the selling for the ads?
Yeah, I guess
as long with the Barstool.
You do the sales and the Barstool account.
Yeah. Will Compton on fire. Let's get that thing back up there.
NFTs, crypto, Safe Moon. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Because Taylor and I have talked about it. We always get extreme FOMO. Obviously, you see everybody out there with their shit coins, the Bitcoins, the Doge, all that stuff.
Yep.
What is the deal with Safe Moon? And what is your stance on, like you were talking about, I'm buying, I'm holding.
Why did you go to Safe Moon? Let's start there. What of all of these other coins, what was the reason for Safe Moon?
I just get hammered with inbound, and I was getting Safe Moon all the time. So I researched it, and I thought it was a decent. I like the fact that they kind of penalize you if you sell. But as I said in the video, you can flip a coin. It's a shit coin. So, I mean, it had already kind of exploded a little bit. I was looking for one, rightly or wrongly, that was hard to buy. In my head, I'm like, ooh, if it's hard to buy, that means I'm in early. Like, I don't want it when it's on Coinbase or, Blockfolio, when anybody can get it, because then you're late. You've missed the rush. I want one that's I need like a tutor on how to buy it. Safe Moon, you did. I still couldn't buy enough of it. So that's why I chose Safe Moon.
Yeah.
And same FOMO, you see the other one, Doge and all this shit. So it's like, all right, I'm going to just pick one shit coin, whatever it is. I was curious, can I move it? Well, like me saying I'm involved, do I have enough influence to make it go up? Went up briefly, but it's got crashed with everything else. So that's why I picked Safe Moon.
Yeah, everybody's out there like, everybody talking about all the Bitcoins. The crypto world seems like the whole Reddit with the whole AMC.
It's crazy.
And it's like, everyone's pissed off about the elite being able to influence the market up and down and shit. But then when the Reddit stuff happens in this crypto world, it almost seems like we're creating a new elite, which is more so with the people. But like the whole deal behind the shit coins.
You talking about like GameStop on the Reddit?
Yeah. Like Reddit, like basically won in all those things, right? Basically won on the AMC.
Not really.
That's another thing we're talking about evolving though, right? Like the ESPNs, the NFL networks are falling behind because they're doing things like this. And you go to Reddit, you got people with influence talking about it.
The finance shit's interesting. I don't know what'll shake out on that. I mean, obviously, it's supposed to take the money out of government's hands, and everyone says a transfer of wealth. I personally don't think the wealthy will let that happen that easy. Like, you even hear China is now like not going to let mining go, and it's just shady. I listen. I thought Bitcoin, speaking of Ponzi schemes, was a Ponzi scheme. I firmly believe that. I don't know what it is now.
Oh, you still think it is?
No, I think it started as that, but I now think it's been so widely accepted that it's real and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, NFL players getting paid in it.
So I would buy into Bitcoin. As far as the other ones, who knows? And like, there's certain ones, if I put so much money in and they're tiny, and there's a bunch of them, a yummy coin, a milk coin, a MILF coin, an ass coin, there's millions. if I buy a lot, I don't think there's liquidity for me to get out. Like it's no different than a small stock. Like I can, if I buy it, if I want to buy a lot, the price is going to go up and up and up as I'm buying it. And if I want to sell it, no, I'm not going to be able to sell it at that price because there's not enough liquidity. So, if you're doing small amounts, maybe, but who fucking knows? It's crazy.
Yeah,
Basically, I have what you guys, FOMO. You hear these people, it's like this fucking jerk just made $100 million in like 2 days doing
But
nothing.
did he make $100 million, or is it $100 million? Can he take out $100 million?
Right, I don't know. That's
when he said that, I was like, I didn't even know that was possible. That where you can't sell it. They're like,
Oh
we
yeah.
don't have
So
the funds.
when Elon sold Bitcoin the first time, he sold like 10 or 15% off. They bought it for Tesla's spreadsheet to cover their losses, basically. And his reason on why they sold so much of it was to prove that Bitcoin had liquidity for that amount. Now Bitcoin's gigantic.
Do you buy that's the reason why? Because
No.
it seems like you guys have had some back and forth on what's
I
going
don't.
on there.
Well, here's my thing with Elon.
Because
Elon is the puppet master. He's the most powerful guy there is. No, there's not even Clay.
That's out now.
He's just so much above everybody else. But he just flip flops. Like 1 second Bitcoin's great, the next second it's bad, then it's great again, and he's fluctuating the market and he's buying and selling. So that's the part I guess not regulated. There's a part of me that thinks he just fucking hates the SEC because the SEC used to investigate him. He's like, fuck you can't do anything with what I'm doing here. But I'd be pissed if I had a lot of Bitcoin and suddenly he turns around and says it's bad for the environment. You didn't know that a month ago when you were buying it? Like you're the smartest guy in the world. How did you just figured this out? So, I mean, at one point, Elon tweeted, and this is before he was so heavily involved in crypto, that Tesla's stock price was too much. I mean, it dipped like 15% in 5 minutes.
He said it's too high.
Yeah, he tweeted Tesla's stock is too high. Like, to me, even if I believe that about Penn, which I don't, I would never publicly say that ever in a million years.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, yeah, it's going higher. If someone asked me, no, it's good. Like I would never, ever tank my own stock. Like people are buying it. Why would I want to hurt people who are investing basically in me?
And the reason why he's taking that stock is so when it drops 15%, he can go buy more.
Who knows?
That would be an idea.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
would- obviously, we're not have Elon here to defend himself.
Yeah, right. For Bitcoin, you could certainly think that. And then he switches to Doge. He owns a ton of Doge. So really in the span of 24 hours at one point, he said he thought Bitcoin is bad for the environment. So Tesla is no longer accepting it. And by the way, he's working with Doge to make it environment friendly. So Bitcoin went like this and Doge went like this. He's like, yeah, I own Doge. It's like a little fucked up.
I don't expect you to know the answer to this.
By the way, if I could do what he did, he could do, I'd do it in 2 seconds.
Yeah, of course. It's a game. Life is just a game, right?
Yeah, like
it's all a simulation. We're all
that
just figuring it out.
motherfucker, but like I wish I could do that.
Yeah, 100%. The guy is an absolute
Do you
genius.
know him? Like, do you guys like?
No, he donated $1 million to the Barstool Fund.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I knew that you guys had the whole Musk.
Yeah, he told me to
Portnoy.
run for prep, but I don't know that he actually knows who I am.
He
Would
knows
you?
who you are.
Would I what?
Run for president.
No, fuck no. I like my life.
Yeah,
I don't know,
president's a
man.
tough
Maybe,
deal.
maybe in like 8 years or something, like down the road, a decade from now.
I don't think you'd win. I don't think that'd be a winning move.
Dave?
Yes, I don't think so.
I don't know.
It's maybe before Trump. But because you have
But
so
I'm
much
a way
stuff.
smarter version of that. I feel like. Not smarter, but like, people may not think that. Like, I think I'm less alienated. Like, I'm not alienated. People think I am, but you really, if you boil down to the things I say, I don't go as far as he does.
In what ways?
Like if he's
Because Trump got in a
he's
lot
a-
of trouble for the things he was saying about the government, what they're going to do,
But if he's
build
an-
the wall, law and order, like not things that I disagree or agree with. I'm not getting into
No,
that.
but
But I'm saying name calling. But you like people could go and dig up your early years of Barstool like they tried to
Totally.
do in 2020.
Totally. Yeah.
And then fucking do the same thing they did to you and make it seem like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I felt like sometimes he plays to a crowd more than I would, knowing where he is. If he's like, if he's at a crazy person rally in the deep south, he may go right to the line of things like to kind of get them on their side, which are going to be divisive. When I did I forget the question I asked, but when I did the interview with him, it was in the heat of Black Lives Matter. Like,
Yeah.
that was when that, like, people were probably still rioting. And I think I asked him something to the effect, like, if you're a black person, like, what would you say, to get them to vote or like you have their back? And but let me say, I've never thought he's like racist. I've followed him like before he was president. I've never got that vibe from him. When I met him, I didn't. But he plays to his constituency more than I think. If he just toned it in both sides, really, if he toned it down a little, I think he probably would have won. And to be honest, if the left wasn't so hell bent on like fucking hating his ass, they probably could have gotten some of the people like both extremes equally suck in my mind.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd agree with that.
And like 90% of the country, I really believe, are kind of normal
Live in the
people
middle.
who like want to get along with each other.
Mhm.
And it was like there's no good candidate for that.
Yeah, minority in the blue and the red usually are the loudest.
Yes.
Those people come out.
Silent
and
majority.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot
So
like
you
the
think you would
internet,
handle those situations different? You would never run for president, but if you did run for president,
I just think
that's the classic. I'm going to run for president in 8 years comment. By the
well,
way,
it's like
I'm not going to run, but if I
no,
were
it's
to,
like, you know what it is? It's Gladiator. It's when he tells communists, he's like, you got to rule Rome. He's like, I don't want to. He's like, that's the exact reason you have to.
yeah.
But I never would.
Well, not after that fucking comment, dude.
No.
That's the reason why you have to.
Honestly, who would want to do that? I don't care about
It seems
helping
like
people
Dwayne
that
the Rock
much.
Johnson is making a push.
Do you think he will?
Who? Do I think he
He'd
should?
win. He'd win. I
He
bet.
would win.
The Rock.
I
Yeah.
do.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I
no
think that's
question.
because there was a thing that came out and said 46% of the country would vote for him. They
Yep.
said, I'd vote for Dwayne the Rock Johnson. And my first thought was, then 46 is stupid because you have no idea what he's standing on. Like what he believes in, what he's trying to push.
You know what's crazy though?
And I'm sure Dwayne's a good guy. I have to put an insurance policy here. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like, I'm sure he's a great dude. I'm sure he handles himself well. I'm sure he would. I can't imagine Kim Jong-un going into a meeting and The Rock being like, "Hey,
Right,
good to meet you." Holy shit! Talk about intimidation. But you don't like. Has he said what his political campaign would be? Would he run independent? You know?
I think a lot of it at this point is people will vote for somebody they actually think's like a genuine good person.
You think so?
And like, I don't know what their politics are, but it's like somebody that you see and you think thinks normally and isn't going to judge somebody on anything, whether it be like race, skin, and like that's better in a lot of respects than like what we have now or maybe have had. Not that I think that, it's just, you know, we just don't have, like, somebody you can sit down and you think you can have a normal conversation with and get along with. That almost trumps at this point. I don't know. I think he would win.
I think he would win too. But it just depends what he come out with. You can't just say you're going to vote for somebody you have no idea what they're standing for. It kind of dismantles what the country's
Well, I think
built
people
on.
feel like they followed him all these years. Like, obviously, I know
He's
that's, like,
outstanding. I don't follow a lot of people just to follow them.
Right.
He's one of those guys I follow because I'm like, this dude
and anytime
rocks.
he has a video and he's talking, like, everyone seems to listen.
Yeah.
You know what I
he-
mean? You'll sit there and listen to you'll watch like
And
the whole
I've never
video. and
heard
listen to him
anybody
talk.
be like, I can't believe The Rock said that. Like,
Right.
you know, he just never seems like somebody who I don't think I've ever heard anybody be like, fucking Rock.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
I've
now
only
I think
person I heard
about
him
it.
talk shit about himself is him.
Yeah.
Like, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about The Rock.
Yeah,
And
unless it's
you
like Kevin
figure
Hart
like on
doing a
both
bit.
sides. If you're in wrestling, he's like a funny guy, clearly. I trust people's sense of humors.
Yeah.
And there are no like, that's why I kind of like Trump thing. I thought he was like super funny. Like I loved how he did debates and just like make up names and shit like that.
He
Like,
just
I found that
make up
funny.
shit, yell at
Yeah.
people.
He
Right.
would just yell over anybody talking the
Dude,
entire
straight
time. It's
comedy
like,
over
holy
him and
shit.
Biden going
Yeah.
at it. I was like, look at these guys, dude. These
Children,
just
elementary
different.
kids,
It really
just going
was.
back and forth.
I'm waiting for a teacher to come out and
Nope,
tell him to play
nope.
nice for a second, then go back. Yeah, no.
Nope, you
lie,
said that.
Lie. If The Rock came to you and was like, I want you to run vice president,
No, I don't want it. People fucking already don't like me enough. I don't need it.
that's not a bad deal. I am leaking right now.
I know
It's
hot on this
officially
bus,
turned the
man.
Jets on. dude.
Well, it's 90 out too.
Yeah,
It's hot.
dude, we
It's a
used to
hot,
we used
hot
to
day.
be out in the gravel and have to just put tarps over it.
Yeah. It's a bad deal.
So we've
should
leveled
sell
Does
up.
some
everyone
ads.
say yes or you asked to come on this?
No,
Who's
We
your-
shut down.
who's
DK
your, like,
Metcalf is the first one that comes to mind. DK shut us down, which was absurd to me because
He's Disney on PMT or
all the time.
All the
I think he
time.
thinks he's better than us, which is fair. You know? Oh, here we go. Georgia boot.
hang on. This is Dave.
Oh, excuse me.
Dave's got
Georgia
this
boot, world's most comfortable boot. Georgia boot, America's hardest working boot. For 80 years, Georgia has been making boots. How many times am I going to say boots? That work as hard as you do. Tough enough for your job, cool enough for everything else. Georgia boot makes super good looking and super comfortable boots. So comfortable, you'll never want to take them off. I like good, even I like looking good even when I'm working.
Stick with it.
These boots do that.
be all
These
right.
boots will hold up in any condition without sacrificing comfort, as the comfort technology of an athletic shoe packed into a great looking boot. Great looking boots. They're widely comfortable at a price you can afford. Every time I wear these boots, people just ask where I get them.
Dave, where'd
Whether
you
you're
get those?
working, whether you're working on your feet all day, working around the home, or grilling out with your friends, these boots won't sacrifice comfort and style. Georgia boots offer the best work boots, wedges, and loggers around. joggers, loggers. Whether you need a waterproof boot, steel boot, stuffed toe, square toe, Met guard, non-puncture shank, non-slip sole, they've got it. Head over to georgiaboot.com. Use code Bussin, 20% off. They should do a boot over-under, like, and just randomly, if you nail it, free pair of boots.
That'd be awesome. That'd be a good deal.
Sportsbook?
Yeah,
Read it top to bottom.
Georgia Boot.
How is the sports book? How's the whole
Can you scroll down? I like that logo. They should put that on a hat.
the Georgia Boot logo?
Yeah, that's a fire logo, actually.
How is the whole
that is a good
partnership with
That is solid.
Pin, the sports book, all that shit? You guys seem to be launching it.
Yeah. So Indiana is launching this week. Actually, I'm going to the Indy 500. I've never been. I've been in a ton of NASCAR, but never Indy. So doing that, I'm excited for that. And then we should have by football season about 8 more states, I think, or 8 total. So yeah, it's important.
Do you guys know which 8 states? You probably do know what 8 states. Can you say? Yeah.
Tennessee?
Yeah, I think
Let's
Colorado,
fucking go.
New Jersey, and Colorado, and maybe Virginia. It comes from Penn, they basically tell us, but those are states I know illegal.
Yeah. With when it comes to you guys' demographic, obviously you guys are huge in the Northeast. That's where you guys started and stuff like that. In the West, big time also. Actually, Arizona's a huge Barstool state. I don't know if you know that well, but
I didn't.
In the South, though, it seems like there's a little bit of a drop off. Why do you think different areas are for or against?
See, I disagree with that. That assessment, I think,
You're allowed to disagree with whatever you want. You know why? Because you're my boss. So keep going.
inaccurate. Yeah, I think we're huge in the South now. I think
Now.
I'm kind of like,
But there's no
king of the
Barstool, Nashville. Well, that's tough to
no.
I mean, Miami.
How are you king of the South? And don't say Florida, because Florida and Louisiana are its own entity.
What?
Florida and
You
Louisiana.
don't think Louisiana's the South?
No, I think Louisiana, it's a totally different deal. I think
There's a couple states in between them.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about geographically. Obviously, it's the South. I'm talking about like Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi,
I'm the
Tennessee,
king of all those
Missouri.
states.
Okay, outstanding. Should probably run for president then.
Well, I don't want to run, but like,
But like New Orleans, Louisiana area, it's super Cajun. I'm more talking about how different the state is compared to all the other states in the South, including Florida. Florida's its own deal.
Right.
Louisiana's its own deal. But why? Okay, you're the king of the South. Why is this?
well, a couple different factors. I got really involved with NASCAR, so I was going to those events a lot.
Yeah, that's a big Southern thing, isn't it?
Yep. I'm viewed as a conservative, so Fox News and doing all that. Like I'll go in the South, everyone knows it. Hey, I saw you on Fox News, and everyone likes pizza. So those 3 things.
Those are the 3 staples you're standing by right there.
If I am the South, I get recognized almost as much in the North.
Really?
Yep. I'm the king of the South.
Well,
Are you opening like an HQ up down in Florida? Have you thought about putting a flag down in the South?
Well, yeah, I bought a house there, so I'm going to be there 6 months a year.
Okay.
probably the colder ones, if I had to guess.
Are you going to bring people from HQ down south?
Yeah, if I have to do stuff, like I got a nice spot, so I'll probably build something where I am.
I would think that a lot of people from New York would be like, let's go to Florida.
I don't want them there.
Oh, okay. New
Because-
friends.
Well, no, it's like, honestly, we're a young company. Like, these bozos run around South Beach.
Yeah.
Like, that's the end of us. Like, New York in the winter, it's like, it's fucking
They're dormant. yeah,
2 degrees, and no, you don't want to be outside. It's freezing. Miami is 24/7.
Imagine Dana
Party,
Beers.
beautiful. I've actually become, I'd say, like, from a nightlife perspective, my most connected city because I'm there so much. I know everybody. So, I'm there at fucking 11 at 7 a.m. and Caleb Presley comes waltzing through the door. He's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "What are you doing here?" It would just be bad news. Like,
Yeah.
it would
It'd be a bad gig.
It's 24/7. Nobody sleeps. We still got to work. So that honestly is a real thing.
Dana Beers having a rough time in Florida.
Imagine Dana.
He would
Imagine
have
any
a
of them.
hard time.
Any of them.
Is Dana back?
I don't even know what that means. Like, to me, Dana is like a video guy.
Yeah. He's behind the camera.
So he's not a beer guy. You're saying he's not
like
the beers
a
guy.
behind the scenes video editor. He drinks beer.
But he does it well.
You don't think that helps the brand a little bit?
I mean, he drinks beer.
So you're on record saying you don't think he's back.
I didn't know that he was.
It's the description of what is back.
When
Back,
was he here?
like you hammering the beers last night. You can go out on a limb and say Taylor's back.
I'd like to think so.
Were you,
You know what I'm
gone?
saying?
Were you not here?
He's been a little bit under the rock.
I've been on a
Because of
little
the
rocky
knee?
path.
Because the knee. The most
knee
you've
this
seen him-
year, PED last year. It's been a rocky 2 years
I
for
didn't
the
know you
boy.
got popped for PED.
Yeah, I got a PED for Austrian. So,
Did you deny it?
100%. I took a polygraph. And so, I mean, do you want to get into it? I can get into it if you'd like.
He can listen to the earlier podcasts.
Ostarine is a thing that you take for osteoporosis. So it's like muscle saving and bone density. It's really nothing that's going to help you in football. The FDA doesn't regulate supplements. So I was taking supplements given to me by a nutritionist actually in New York, and they weren't NSF certified.
Do they like send this script to everybody who takes PEDs?
What?
What you just read?
What I just said? Not just doing homework.
I feel like they fax it out. It's like everybody, here it is. Here's the fucking stuff.
Here's what you say.
That part's a little overdone.
It doesn't help in football, nutrition, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right. I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I didn't take it. Let's I didn't take it.
Yeah, okay,
we fucking did it. There it is. It's over now, right? You heard it here.
But yeah, so being back, I would say that's what that.
I mean,
that's
Dana,
what equating to being back.
Why
is.
was Dana not? I don't know. He's been the same guy since he started the zillion beer. He drinks beers. He definitely. It all started with that challenge when he was doing it. I'm like, get behind the camera, and I said if he sold a certain amount of merch by the end of the day, he could continue to make these videos. He destroyed it. He sold so much merch.
Over $1 million, right?
Do you think he destroyed it because of him or because of you?
No,
People like him being wrong.
Correct.
So he was like
I was the impetus to like, let's prove Dave wrong. So it was like a WWE work, although he didn't see it that way. But it like, it's like
nice storyline in the
fuck
WWE.
Dave, we're going to buy all his merch and put money in his fucking pocket by buying these shirts.
Yeah. And people
fucking showed him. Yeah. So
you're just clipping coupons. Yep. All right, assholes, you're right.
Hey, Dana gets the same. Dana gets the same weekly paycheck. Like, hey, appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. He actually gave.
Dana's listening to the podcast. You're like,
I think he got I think he got like $100,000 or something. He gave it away. He got so caught up. He like didn't keep the money.
Because the ante kept going up.
It's trying to stay relevant. He's like, how can I keep this train rolling? Because he was hot.
He's an entertaining guy.
That's what I'm saying. He was hot. Now is he back? Right? Is he
hot
back?
is back?
I didn't know.
I wouldn't say that.
Happened.
I don't follow like you do, but I wouldn't say Dana's back then.
Would you? I know. I love like asking this because it's obviously people are going to run. He's going to run with it specifically.
Yeah.
I came to the office because it's back. I literally walked down. I go, dude, stand up. Stood up. He's like, what's that? I'm like, I wanted to see how fat you are. I kept hearing you're so fat. He looked the same to me. I'm like, you look the same you've always looked.
And he loved it. What did he do when he did that? Just smile.
He said
he tweeted
back.
and said Dave walked. They walked to me, told me to stood up, said you look the same, and then he's like, I'm back.
So the same story he just told?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I said. You said, what did he do with it?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
When he wasn't back, he was just working down in Mississippi with Deion anyways, right?
Yeah.
Not being back.
He was doing video work.
Is there a documentary coming out about that?
Yeah, on Deion. Deion's awesome. He's like one of the best guys. I feel like he's one of the top guys I've met where my preconceived notions of him did not match with who he was. Like I just knew him as prime time and the character I grew up with.
Right.
So what's the preconceived notion before going into it?
Perfect example of how much older he is than us.
Well, I just thought, he's this guy like that's so egotistical, so over the top, would not be humble, no self-awareness at all, and he's awesome in every respect. Like I would picture myself if I like grew up with him, like being real good friends with him. Like he just has a great sense of humor. Say anything with him, at ease at all time, and way smarter. Like I remember him saying the primetime character. He's like, I studied the draft, and cornerbacks made so much little money compared to like quarterbacks, everybody else. And no one was getting paid. He's like, I have to do something, and he created the primetime character. Like that's what he's. I believe it.
People would be so surprised how much entertainment can get you paid.
Right.
It's just ridiculous. And everyone, when you start kind of stepping out of that zone, people are like, hey, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't act this way. But the more you act that way, the more people fucking know who you are.
Big
and that
time.
person gets paid.
Yeah.
I like that shit. Is his son playing for the same school?
Yeah, he's a quarterback.
How'd they do this year? Were they good?
They were better than I think they thought they were going to be. They beat like
They started off
rambling for
beating
the
the
first
shit out
time
of
in like
teams.
20 years or something.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a big time D1 coach at some point. He should have gone to Florida. He thought he was getting the Florida State job.
Florida State.
Yeah,
His alma mater.
Yeah. I think if he gets that job, you think his son goes with him? Because you can now go in the portal and just dip and
I
be
don't know
eligible
that he'll
the
get
first
that
year.
quick, and I don't know how good if he's good enough. I mean, Florida State sucks, so and
Yeah,
it's
but Florida
different.
State was good. What, 7 years ago? Like relevant, like in a relevant amount of time.
Again, to date myself, when I was growing up, it was them in Miami was like the teams.
How about Miami? When are they going to come back? When are they going to be the school again?
Hopefully,
You'd
soon.
like to think
How
so
about
soon.
your alumni?
Well, how about your alumni?
Yeah, well, when they stink, they're yours.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've been a pretty pretty vocal about how they suck, but they mostly sucked. They sucked more when I was there. So it's like okay for me to say they suck now.
How could they suck more when you were there?
Dude, I went there from 09 to 13. Rich Rodriguez was my coach.
No, they weren't worse then.
We didn't make a bowl game the first time in like 20 years.
Was the quarterback the
That's
shifty
tough.
guy?
That is tough.
Denard
Yeah,
Robinson?
Denard.
Was he the quarterback when he was
Yeah.
there?
He was there the second year. So
Okay, then they were better than any year that they've had this year. That's better than what they were.
what did they do this year? They won 10 games last year, didn't they?
No,
They didn't win 10 games
fuck no,
or 9?
They might not have played that many.
no. They were.
No, I think the
horrible.
Big Ten played like that. I think they did.
No, they didn't win 10. They were
We were
fucking
trash.
horrible.
Well, okay, even better argument for me. We were on par as shitty as them when I was
Wait,
there.
what is it?
Overall, 2-4, home 0-3.
That's
Get out of
tough.
here.
He said that we went 10 games
I
last
thought we
year.
were
They're
I thought we
2
were
and
better than
4.
that. And they re-upped Harbaugh.
It's crazy.
That's wild to me. Now
crazy.
I'm gonna go back. Ann Arbor people are gonna hate me because I'm gonna go.
Makes
They're gonna.
no
You go
sense.
back. They're gonna love you to death. I go back to like, can't believe you fucking went against your team. Listen,
Just
we're
slam
not
a couple
good.
beers.
I've
I
said,
can't
Take
slam
your
a
shirt
beer
off and
in
slam
Ann
it.
Arbor.
Yeah.
People be like, well, you can't drink at the stadium, so you're getting arrested.
I've said I won't wear the colors. I won't wear football season. I won't wear the colors.
You won't wear maize and blue anymore.
No, not for football. We're a basketball school.
It's kind of, I don't want to sound like that guy, but it's kind of weird to me when guys leave college and they're still so invested in their college.
Like, are you talking like?
Yo, I love
I think it's a
Nebraska.
bad thing for me to say. I don't think that's
I
going
love
to age well.
Nebraska.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Wait, are you talking like players or just like?
Players more than anything.
Why?
Because maybe it's because I'm that way. Like when I go to the next thing, I'm on the next thing.
So what
now.
about your high school?
No, I mean, I don't go back and watch games ever.
You don't care about your high school?
No, I follow them on Instagram, and if they do something and they want me to do something for them, I always do something for them. But like, I'm not like getting in arguments with other kids from Arizona about how we were better than them in 2005. Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I think that's a
doesn't-
little. I think that's a little far, but I don't see
It's
what's
like
wrong. I don't see what's
you know
wrong
what
with
I'm
having
saying? All the Alabama guys, like they come from college to NFL, and all they talk about is college.
See, I think that's cool though.
Yeah, but they won.
And
They
listen,
won
like I said,
natties.
it might not age well.
Argued with Dave about Michigan being better then. You just did it.
Well, no, worse. He argued about them being worse.
I was worse when I was at school.
Got you. Okay, so you're talking down on it, so it's fine.
I guess so.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of losing my place.
like,
I feel like we're back to this.
Sure.
Yeah.
The office thing.
Well, I know I'm into Nebraska.
I know
So
that.
I don't know if you're taking
No,
a little.
I feel like you guys are
taking a
both.
little-
You guys are both took this side. I'll stay on this side.
No, I think it's cool. Like I like if you watch like Miami in the old days and like Michael Irvin comes back and Ray Lewis on the sidelines. I think that's cool.
Here's why I probably don't like it. Is when I was there, we were just shitty. Everyone talked about the 90s. Everyone talked about, Bo and Lloyd and all that. And I think I never did anything relevant from a team standpoint
Right.
at that school. So there's nothing for me to truly be proud of. Like we
Are
won
you
the
friends-
Sugar Bowl.
Who was like the quarterback when you were there?
Denard Robinson was our quarterback. And then who's
You
the
won
other
the
guy?
what?
Sugar Bowl. It was a BCS game. We went like 3 overtimes. It was the first year Brady Hoke was the coach.
I don't think you're paying any attention to how bad Michigan is now. You guys won the. You won.
We
You
lost
won
to
the
Indiana.
BCS Bowl.
He thought they went to the
We
game.
we
can't.
that's like the only thing we did. That's the only thing we did. We never sniffed-
Michigan can't win 3 games.
Michigan used to be head to head
Michigan
with
is the
Ohio
worst
State
team in the
every
Big
single
Ten.
year.
Michigan's the worst team in the Big Ten.
That's just ridiculous. Because
You're not paying
Illinois,
attention.
Illinois,
No, Illinois is probably better than them last year.
that's not true.
They just went 2
I'm gonna
and
be wrong
4.
again, but look it up.
We
I'm
just
gonna
had
be
it
fucking
up.
wrong.
We're 2 and 4. It's pretty easy to be better
2
than
and 4
Michigan
the Big
last year.
Ten.
It said overall. Because remember last year with COVID, they kind of played teams just
Well,
in the
yeah, we
conference.
were ducking. We ducked Ohio State because we lost by 1,000.
Do you think they should have re-upped Harbaugh?
No, definitely
Well,
not.
then where do we go? Because when I was there, all they talked about was we need Harbaugh
Illinois
here.
2 and what were we? 2 and 4.
We lost
We were
less
a
games.
Yeah.
we fucking lost
Respectable-
less games.
respectable 3 and 5. Nebraska.
Last year's a weird deal, but the year before that.
But also
click on
being from
see
Michigan,
what their
too.
schedule was.
Being from Michigan too, you guys have like the most winningest program
They
of all
got.
time.
They were
right?
getting like.
I don't know if we're there anymore.
Smoked.
I think you guys are.
Michigan, Minnesota.
So we beat
I almost went to
Minnesota,
Minnesota.
lost to Michigan State, lost to Indiana, got killed by
Indiana was
Wisconsin,
good last year.
Beat Rutgers in double OT, triple OT. Took to beat Rutgers, lost to Penn State, and then the last 3 were canceled.
Yeah.
So
That's a tough look.
they win 1 game at home.
Yeah, Michigan State though.
They suck. Michigan sucks.
I don't know. The Big Ten's kind of like falling off a little bit. It's just Ohio State. in Wisconsin sometimes.
Yeah, we always need Ohio State to win the big
Yeah,
games.
well,
Yeah.
Nebraska has been a joke since they entered too.
Since
This is
'97.
a good time to read an ad.
It's perfect. Hey, time to pivot.
That was tough.
You talk about tough. Talk about having a bad haircut. At Sports Clips, they have
Sports Clips, no S.
Sport Clips offers a unique experience that exceeds the typical haircut from start to finish. Sports Clips stylists are experts in men and boys haircuts with specialized training and techniques. You know that men's hair is harder to cut than women's hair?
I used to cut my own hair.
Really? Well, you should have gone to Sport Clips. Cutting guys' hair can be harder than women's hair. Wow, I just said that. Unbelievable that I already knew that. When you go to Sport Clips versus a place that cuts women's hair, you're getting a stylist who are specifically trained to cut guys' hair. Sports Clips are experts in understanding facial shape and hair texture and cutting to a guy's best advantage. Listen, here's the deal. You go in there, it's 15 minutes, give them a 15 minutes heads up. You head in, you use the app. That's the ad. That's the ad. I did it. You go now. I fucking lost my place. I was out of there,
You
dude.
got around with
rattled.
1,800 locations nationwide. A Sport Clips is
Michigan
closer than you
sucks.
think, and your experience is even better with on-deck text alerts, which means less wait time, more prime time. You'll get a 15-minute heads up when it's time to head in, and another text when you're next in line. Sport
said
Clips
that.
gives you more ways to save time, so you can enjoy your prime time. Text messages opt-in required. Message and data fees may apply. Visit a Sport Clips near you for a haircut that exceeds the typical experience from start to finish.
Hey, great job, Will.
That was
Nice
solid.
job.
That was solid.
That was a good job. Reading's not a strong suit for me, and I got into Michigan.
I have bad eyes at this point. I getting old.
Twice the
from
age?
there, it's like tough to almost see
Do
it.
you read your ads in your
Yeah.
show
Yeah, yeah, most of them.
with Eddie?
Yeah,
Shout out
Depends
Eddie,
who
dude.
it is.
Hey, but Deion, $1 million worth of game brought them in, right?
Yes,
How's the relationship and partnership going with $1 million worth of
awesome.
game?
Love them.
They were just on you recently,
really on
right?
top of their
Yeah,
social media.
they're as good as it gets for what they do. I mean, hilarious and huge. Like people, I don't think get how big they are in their community. Like urban, obviously,
They're monsters in Philly.
and they're monsters. Like I told the story. We told it when we were recruiting them. I went to Philly, met with them, and literally walking down the street, every single white kid was like, "Hey, Dave, hey, Prez," and every single black dude was like, "Hey, Wallow, hey, Gilly." It was like one after the other.
Boom.
And their YouTube, their YouTube's huge. Like they're not traditional podcast audio. If you go to $1 million worth of game, and there's something the first time I listened to them, similar to you guys, when you hear it, I just knew it's like, yep, these guys have it. Like, let's see what we can do to get them.
Right.
And they were already huge. I mean, Gilly already had 1 million followers by the time we got to him, and Wallow is up over 1 million. Yeah, they're as good as they really are.
Why do you think they don't leave? Like McAfee did. If they were, I mean, 1 million followers would qualify as a star.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I don't.
Same with like Alex when
It
that.
is a little different too.
You know,
'cause,
we learned
Pat was a little more
probably-
mainstream.
We probably learned more with McAfee as it was going. He was running his whole business, but we're better. It was the first time we had somebody like that, you know, and the communication wasn't as good. And obviously, I think McAfee wanted to leave. Like, you know, I love Pat. We get along still. Like, I think his version of events, which a lot of it's like, he was very much like, it was the business side. He was like, I love Erika and Dave. And there was no like shady business going on. It was just us being dumb, which can happen at times. And it was really, we set things up. So a lot of people who advertise, for example, with $1 million worth of game, they're not deciding between $1 million worth of game or Pardon My Take. From what I gather, like a big blowout that happened with Pat was there was this big ad client, and they thought it was going to Pat, and it ended up going to Pardon My Take. Can create bad optics because it's like I think there's a rev share with Pat, and there isn't with Pardon My Take. So Barstool theoretically stands to make more money. Reality situation is like if an advertiser wants to advertise with Pardon My Take instead of Pat or vice versa, it's up to the advertiser. And that from what I gather was a big part. I should have been more heavily involved with Pat but he was always going to leave. It was just a matter of when.
Yeah.
And I don't say that in a bad way.
No.
It financially made sense for him prior to leave. And for the things he wants to do. If he wants to go do WWE, he wants to go announce on ESPN. Like, that has nothing to do with us.
Right.
That's his own, he doesn't need us to do it.
Do you think there's ever a future for you guys to collab? Do anything together?
He works right now close. Well, all right. So I tried to get him involved with a sports book, and we would have been like, he had an idea. Is like, why don't we do a radio show together, like me and you? It'll be like
to where how he has FanDuel.
That would have been massive.
Make it sportsbook.
Yeah.
That would have been absolutely massive if the two of you did that.
So before that,
Okay.
we were trying to get him in, and he went to a competitor of Penn of the Barstool Sportsbook, and they gave him a huge deal. So that will prevent us from working together as long as that deal. I don't know when that expires for him, but as long as that's in place, it'll be very hard because direct competitor on the advertiser level.
But you're not opposed in the future.
No, he's super. He's one of the few guys. What I offered him to try to get the pen to him to come back and part of it. There's very few people who I think are talented enough to get an offer like that. He was for it.
Yeah.
It's just he got a much bigger offer that we can.
Yeah, it seemed like he got a huge deal.
Yeah, right.
With all these huge deals coming out with like Spotify and everybody, all these media markets, outlets coming up and coming out of pocket to get all this talent. How do you feel like you've kind of noticed and kind of position yourselves to be ready for like, contracts with like Alex to come up?
So, yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's no different than sports. There'll be some people where, they're awesome and we wish to have them, but we won't be able to do it because you're still trying to run a business. A lot of it right now is in the gambling space because it's a gold rush. So people are willing to overpay big time, like the Lebatard, like $50 million for 3 years.
Yeah. I saw
That's
that
fucking insanity. That deal only happens largely probably because of us. Because it's almost, again, not to keep using sports analogies, but we set the market when Penn bought us, and we proved the importance of having media to drive your ad spend. So if Barstool was sold, I think it's like $2 billion now. If Barstool could be sold on the open market, seeing what we did for Penn, I think it's probably close to $2 billion. And all our competitors rushed around basically needing to combat us because Penn doesn't have to spend advertising because I'm out there fucking doing it. Basically, they have the one-time fee and they're just accumulating everything. There's rumors DraftKings was going to try to buy Bleacher Report. Yeah. $50 million for Lebatard. They don't own it. That's a 3-year contract.
Really?
It's crazy.
No equity.
Yeah,
at all.
just to distribute.
Yeah, because
it is fucking crazy.
Yeah, the amount that they're spending is, and they're getting killed. They don't make any money except us. We're okay because we're not spending, and eventually that'll change. But right now it's a gold rush in the gambling space.
You feel like it helps that you're able to it's like the Barstool Sportsbook. So literally all of your talent across Barstool can essentially do what like FanDuel and DraftKings are throwing money on all this talent.
Yeah.
To like, hey, boost us, do all this stuff. You get to kind of do it.
And it matters. Like I'm incented. Yeah, it's a huge advantage for Penn. And again, I don't think anyone knew. It wasn't like we had all these offers. We didn't. Penn, the people churning who bought Barstool and they're professional negotiators. Like they were athlete negotiators, ruthless negotiators. They named the price for Penn. They were like $450 million. That was the valuation. They said yes right away. I couldn't believe it. Like usually I get ripped off. I'm not a great well, you saw how I negotiate. It's like, what do you guys want? Done. So it's like, I'm not, that's not my forte.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
It's like, I thought those guys, when they just said the number and they said yes, and now it's just spiraled out of control. So it's like when a pitcher signs a Major League Baseball and sets the market, and then you look back, or even Brady, you look back at Brady, it's like, whoa, he's kind of like underpaid to what people are getting nowadays. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
Hey, when we did go into that meeting with you, you're like, I have never been in one of these. Like, what do you want? Like
hey,
this?
that shit was so
I was
funny.
going in there like, all right, we got to fucking do
You
this.
guys
It
are
was
ready to
time.
go.
I'm like reading up. I'm calling my agent. So what should I talk about?
Yeah.
And I'm like, we want this.
Taylor-
You're like, fuck it. Okay.
We're
Like,
we're sitting at Taylor's, and it was right after the season, right? You guys
right.
had
It was
just-
right after the
right
season
after
ended.
the
It was
playoffs.
right after the AFC Championship.
And I was like, they want us to come out. Like, we need to have conversations, like talk about this deal and everything. He goes,
You
"Oh."
guys, I thought, were the ones who wanted to do that.
He called Gaz and goes,
Yeah.
we'll be out tomorrow. Or like within the next couple of days. And we got on the phone. I was like, so
Bum
what,
rush.
we
It's the bum rush
supposed to just go out there?
Let's
he's
get there before they can get their ducks in a row.
yeah. He's like, yeah, let's just go out there. So we're going out there and he's like, hey, you got this thing, right? And I'm thinking, yo, you fucking put us out here. He's like, oh no, I just wanted to get us out here.
Showed up 20 minutes late for
Yeah.
the meeting. Alpha move. Got
Yeah.
me a Jimmy
We
John
brought-
sandwich or whatever the fuck's right there.
Yeah.
It wasn't Jimmy, it was Potbelly's.
Potbelly.
Right above.
Yeah.
We brought our suit with us. I'm asking Dave about for the boys, like,
Yeah,
will we
I
be
don't
able to-
remember.
Yeah, can we
I
use
was-
for the boys? We own that. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, we're like, after the
Literally
deal was up, like,
nothing.
would we be able to have like for the boys? I think what locks us in, we don't want to corner ourselves.
Even
into-
if we leave
to
or
being
something
known
like that,
as the boys, and then we don't have the boys anymore. And he's like, oh yeah, no problem. I was like,
I didn't even know
I
what
was
I was
like,
doing in that meeting. I was just sitting down like, what are these guys talking about? You want the I'm here to answer.
And
you
I go,
like, take the fucking boys. I don't fucking care.
I go, all right, Ken,
It
what
was
else
so
do you got?
important to us. It's amazing how different it was because you're like, why the fuck am I here? And we're like, this is our Super Bowl.
Yeah, this is our fucking
everything to us
game
right now,
time
dude.
decision, dog.
It honestly felt almost like an office like skit where it's like, well, I'm gonna need to be able to take my lunch at 12. It's like, all right, whatever you guys like. I don't even know what we're talking about here.
Yeah, dude.
Dave just quickly goes, all right, yeah, so you just want to be able to like continue to sell the boys merch? Yeah, no problem. I was like, all right, Ken, go ahead, man.
Yeah,
Then we
talk
just
about the
sat
numbers,
there.
I guess.
Oh, that shit was
It's
funny.
very different to those negotiations or anything like that because you guys had already been doing it. So like we're never trying to where things get weird is what happened with Call Her Daddy, where it's literally something that's like Part of My Take didn't exist. It's something our employees in our own doors like started from scratch, and then it's like to me that's our IP. That's where I get a little more. It's like, well, you can't build something here. It's like, who owns the McNugget? Like the guy who invented it or McDonald's? Like it's McDonald's. It's like you were working at now. When you come to us with something, you sign the contract. Hopefully it's great for everybody. And at the end, we can redo the contract and extend it. But if it doesn't, then we're not like, it's your thing. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
How'd you guys find us?
He doesn't fucking know.
No. Gaz told me about it.
Somebody's got to bring it to him before he's like, all right, let's do this.
Paul had
like,
it.
who
No,
was like
obviously,
responsible
we're
for like
pretty
finding
on
us?
top of like new podcasts. And obviously you guys ripped off Part of My Take with a lot of what you did early
well,
with the
stop there.
boss.
Just hang on. Just
and things of that
let him
nature.
talk.
So there was buzz around the office being like, oh, look at these guys doing like the bus. Now, granted, the bus started with me. So it goes me and Dan to Part of My Take to you guys. But we saw it and it was good.
Pyramid
I
scheme.
listened.
What did we steal from you guys?
So this environment
So
is like,
you guys owned a 74 Bluebird
well,
that didn't have an engine? And yours are two NFL players?
but the inside of it,
You guys had the stickers?
we had a very similar vibe to this.
I'm pretty sure
Hang on,
it wasn't
hang
a
on.
van.
No,
It was an actual bus,
it was we had an RV.
an RV.
Yeah.
So that's also different.
It's called Vanny Woodhead, right?
No, see that's the second. Like
Man, we're tell you what, they got some age. He's got some age on us.
Yeah.
we had it.
It's okay.
It literally
We're young.
looked. Were
We're
you
young.
ever on
Young
that Spider?
stallions.
It looked exactly kind of like this. And we go Super Bowl like Greg Olson and all the fucking like it was the year of the Panthers. Greg Olson, shout out, still my number one guy. Like we couldn't get press credentials. They wouldn't give him to us. I've known him for so long. He left media day early to come on our bus.
Really?
Sat down like and just shoot the shit. Like it literally looked, I don't know, exactly like this.
So you think we stole your guys' idea?
I'm not saying you stole it, but there is a lot of osmosis that goes on in this industry. You don't even know you're stealing things. Like, where did I see that? Where did I see it? Oh, that's right. Barstool at the bus. And then PMT took it, but PMT looked pretty much similar to what the original bus. Hey, we're all one team here.
Oh, no.
I thought there was more. You literally were talking. There was no drain off or nothing.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm
You just
sitting here
kept
comfortably
and then-
listening to
yeah.
him. Like, let's go. You know,
And then like something
takes a
hit him
drink
in
of
the skull.
water.
Like, hey, we're on the same team, right?
One team.
Nah, we didn't steal shit. But I will say we're a very original idea. People have actually tried to steal our ideas now. And I'm wondering when you guys go to start going to other athletes saying make a podcast, or are we your one and only?
Well, you guys already had it.
Oh yeah, are you
Yeah,
saying?
we
Are
had
you?
like 15, 20 episodes. I'm saying there's other guys out there now doing it. Are those guys going to become part of Barstool?
We want to look for like
yeah, are
another
you faithful?
football.
Yeah.
Well, because you have PMT, you
Well,
have the
yeah,
athlete
Yeah,
thing.
that probably would. The thing with the McAfee and the PMT thing could end up happening with us and PMT. PMT. How there was like the ads and like there could be a split of who's going to where eventually.
Yeah,
Because
that-
it's a very similar setup.
Correct.
We're both talking about sports.
Right.
That's what we're doing. We're talking about sports. Here it is. That could be a thing in the future. You know?
Maybe we get a little radio gig going on.
Maybe. Maybe you
day.
give us more money.
How much? I don't know how much you guys make.
Well, since you're a terrible negotiator, we'll talk about it.
Do you guys?
We don't
Well,
need
what
to
do you?
talk
How
about
much do you make in the NFL? I can look that up.
He makes
you can look that up if you want. I
He
make
makes
less
a
this year than I
fuckload.
did last year.
What?
Yeah,
I make
well,
less this
okay.
year than I did
How
last
much?
year. About 7 million less.
7. So how much do you make?
Last year, you're what? 16.
17 last year.
17?
Yeah, that's like. It's a lot
There's
of money.
taxes.
I understand how taxes work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you? Are you faithful to the boys?
To you guys?
Yeah.
Faithful how?
Like you see some of these.
Guy
I don't
comes-
know who you're talking about.
Guy gets on the bus right now, puts a gun to Will's head, and says, "You got to suck my dick if you want this guy to live? How faithful are you to us?
Can you repeat that scenario?
Sure. Guy gets on the bus right now.
Puts a gun in
to
his
Will's head. Yeah.
Says, I gotta suck your dick.
Not mine. His. The guy with the gun.
No.
Not doing that?
Oh, I'm not that faithful. I'm like, see you later, dude.
That's tough.
100%.
Hey,
I wouldn't
tough.
put that against. I mean, hell, that's,
you're gonna be like, hey, I'm cool with that as the trigger's being pulled.
I'd rather him not get killed, but I'm not sucking his dick.
yeah,
in that scenario.
we're not like boys like that.
Right, like we've met this. We've been together for like 20 minutes. I'm just, please.
Hour 23.
You could do that literally to anybody in the street then. Hey, guy, walking by, I'm going to kill this guy if you won't suck his dick. No,
well, there's a little more substance. There's a little more of a friendship.
20 minutes worth, a minute 40 worth more.
That's substance. An hour 23.
Yeah, and I added the 20 that we hung out before that. That's an hour 40. I mean, that's a pretty fucking horrific situation.
Well, I'm just saying, if we were to say how far, and we'll scale down from there.
I would take my chances in that we could maybe wrestle the gun away before we get into a dick sucking situation.
So not that faithful, I think.
I think I wouldn't just walk off. Maybe I do a fake walk off and then like a turn. I'm not a fighter, but like I would rather probably get shot.
Have you ever been in a fight before?
No, never once.
Not once.
Never.
Like you've been punched in the face though.
No.
Never.
No.
Is that surprising to you?
You mean because you think I'm like a wise ass? You mean?
No, I'm saying like.
No, yes.
Okay.
People would be like, oh, if I see Dave, if he talked like that in front of me, they want to swing on him or something.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I mean, I don't know. In person, I rarely get confronted, not because people aren't like, most people are normal and like actually think we're funny people. And honestly, right now, the people who don't like me probably aren't even out. They like sit at home and just fucking don't go out.
Yeah, but probably.
If push came to shove, I'll go right to the line, and then I'll just be a giant pussy. I'll be like, I'm out of here.
You're not fighting anybody. We're not fighting nobody.
Yeah.
I like how he wears it.
The Mayweather fight. Was it Logan Paul and Mayweather?
Yeah.
What do you
just
think?
Announced we have a promo. Great job, guys. Barstool Sportsbook. Bet this week. The one prize, if you lose, you get eliminated. The package is you go to the fight with me, and we're in the locker room pre-fight.
The locker room.
Yeah, Logan's.
How do you think that's going to go? And I need you to be as brutally honest as you possibly can. I don't know the
actual rules. Are the rules just straight? I know it's amateur. Like I heard different weird all right, let's just say they're normal rules.
Yeah.
In my mind, Mayweather can do whatever he wants. If he wants to make it entertaining, he can. Like I thought he could have destroyed Conor at any point. Like if he's just like, all right, I've had enough of this, I'm done. Now, he's way older. He may not be training, but he is still the greatest, arguably, boxer of all time. Logan's way bigger.
Way bigger.
But it doesn't matter. He's so fast. If Mayweather cares at all, I actually said to Logan, if you told me Mayweather cares 100%, I would bet all my money you can't land one clean punch on him.
What did he say to that?
He disagreed, but it wasn't like totally adamant disagree. Yeah. I don't think Logan's under any delusion. I think he's like, he's not going to take this fight seriously. It's a show and he's doing whatever. But I've never gotten the vibe around Logan. He's like, yeah, I can fucking give this guy a fight. He knows who he is.
So you think this is just going to be an entertainment? Like this is just...
What is it? So, I mean, that's what I mean. 190 versus 160?
Yeah, but that's he's not going to touch. How is he going to hit Mayweather?
Well, it's all...
If a guy like Conor couldn't.
But that's all up to... He did a little bit. He did
a little bit.
But
Conor caught him once where I was like, oh.
But that was up to Mayweather.
Maybe he beats him.
That if I was at that fight...
He dictated that entire fight.
What's that?
Mayweather dictated the entire fight.
If Mayweather at any point is like, I'm done, like he made a shit ton of money, and to a degree, I think he's an entertainer. Yeah. If he's like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking wail on this guy, not let him touch me once, he could have done that, and he can do it with this. But who knows what he's thinking?
Mm-hmm.
I actually think eventually Conor McGregor will fight Jake Paul.
You think so?
I do. I think it'll be the biggest payday of all. Jake Paul is brilliant. I think he's brilliant. And he's going to keep doing what he's doing, is finding the perfect opponents who can't beat him and like I'm actually
get his record up.
And I'm intrigued. I'm like, wait a minute, is he good? Like he clearly has power, clearly. But is he good? I don't know. I don't know now. When I say good, I'm not saying he'd be like a legit credible boxer, but I actually now am like dying to see him fight a good boxer and see what happens. Boxer. So he's created that. Now I wouldn't if I were him, but
the guys he fought are like what, a YouTube star and the UFC guy. What was his name?
Ben Askren.
Ben Askren, who's
a wrestler,
known for wrestling.
Yeah, he's a wrestler
and taking punches really well.
And the basketball guy.
And that fight seemed like the most like fake thing ever.
I listened to him on...
It didn't look like...
Fake how?
Fake like he got punched. It looked like a fake knockout, and as he was walking away smiling...
See, I don't think that was... I watched that. He got fucking hammered with that punch.
But the mitts are that much more padded than a UFC, and Ben has taken shots like no one other.
Yeah, but
it just takes a little bit, that right one.
Yeah,
That
and
chin
he
piece.
said
That
that.
little chin
He
piece,
was
dude.
on the ground when he took the other punchers, different angles. He said that on the show, and he said something that kind of makes sense. He's like, listen, I'm a wrestler. Like, I've been trained my entire life. If somebody like makes a move, I think they're going to shoot. Like, my instinct isn't like up, and he got hit kind of like the back of the head. Like there is the clip. Everybody has Ben Askren getting demolished on the ground, but it's totally different. It's like he knows the punches are coming. He's getting like elbowed. He didn't strike me as the type of guy who would be there to like embarrass himself.
Well, I think too, because he went on his show like the day after, right?
Yep.
And the way he was talking, it's like, oh, I mean, this seemed like he took it serious.
Yeah, he really
He's like, you
did
guys
see
don't
it.
understand. I walk around. He was talking about his weight deal and everything.
Yeah.
He's like, I naturally look thicker around the hips. He's like, and I'm walking around at a heavier weight.
He looked tough in that.
Yeah.
That was a bad look.
He can't. He's not a boxer. Like everybody said that. He's not. He's a wrestler who.
So his 2-0 is not really credible then.
100%. But power is power.
Yeah, but like I have power.
I
and
agree.
I can't box. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
agree.
You put me in a ring
But
with somebody, I'm not going to be able to.
That's why Jake Paul's brilliant, because he's getting the pay-per-view. Why would you fight anybody who poses a threat if people keep buying? If you can keep finding guys, because it started with the NBA guy, Robinson's like, oh, well, he's a pro athlete, so he may be quick trouble.
Yeah.
Guys never boxed. Then you fight a guy with an
was
MMA
apparent.
career. What's that?
It was apparent that he couldn't box.
Right. And then an MMA guy's like, well, he's been like, the odds on that fight weren't that great. It was like 160. It wasn't like he was a huge favorite.
But was it 160 because like they really didn't know like what the matchup was really bringing,
Yeah.
or was that close? You know what I'm saying?
I think they didn't know. It's like he's an MMA guy, a world class like fighter. He's been in fights before. He's up, and you know the problem is going to be who's next. How do you keep finding these guys? Like we were talking to Biz the other day. Like I bet I would actually
put a hockey guy in there to be solid.
So
yeah,
I think
see where
Biz
you're
would
going.
like beat him, but does Biz bring enough? He needs people who, like Jake's so big. You don't want to fight somebody where you're in danger of losing, because then that's the end of it. But you need somebody who brings the.
Biz isn't a big guy though. When he was in the, he
Biz
was,
thinks he'd beat him?
well, Biz was a fighter.
Biz is not a small guy.
Right, but
He's
it's
not
hockey
you, but
fighter.
he's
No.
not.
We're talking hockey fighter though.
Yeah, I was at that game the other night, and there's a couple dudes that look. pretty big on those
I'm not
skates.
saying he's not a badass. I'm just saying like
And there's no
the training
footwork-
that
there's
would
no
have to go
footwork in
into
hockey
it.
fighting.
Biz is big.
How
He's
big
not.
is Biz?
I mean, he's
because
not.
when he was in the pod
What do
in
you think's
Arizona,
big?
I didn't think he was
6'2"?
that big. He's tall. But
He's
I didn't
tall,
think he
but
was
he's
gonna-
lanky.
He's not
Skinny-
really that
he's-
late.
I mean, I
skinny
guess
arm
I guess
guy.
if he's fighting Jake, yeah. I'm sitting here thinking like,
But
there's
Jake's
no
a
way
bigger
he's
dude, right?
216.
When he played, probably.
Okay, yeah.
No,
That's
he's
probably when he
he's
played.
like kind of a big guy. I don't know what you guys.
I think he's around 190, 195.
no way. Wait, no way.
Really?
Yeah, no way.
I wouldn't. When I was looking at Biz, I wouldn't look like, okay, this guy poses a threat as a fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On land, because fighting in hockey is totally different. There's no footwork involved.
Totally.
It's a way different game. I can go fight. I don't know, Spider. Can you skate? Let's assume yes. He could beat my ass if he could skate.
Right.
But it's a totally different game when you get on the ground. I don't know. He didn't seem that big to me. He didn't seem like a big dude.
He is an interesting
Obviously, it's a
guy
weird thing.
because I mean, Biz has a following. It's an interesting.
That would be an awesome fight.
Yeah.
That is, yeah,
That
that
was
is
something I would tune in for, and I'd be all about Paul. I'd be like, let's go, buddy.
You'd be all.
You mean
okay,
Biz.
okay.
I'd be about Biz.
Okay, Biz.
And
I was gonna
and
say
Biz
you'd
is-
be rooting for Jake Paul.
And Biz is just
Oh yeah, I can see why that came out. I was like, the fuck's the guy's first name, right? Like,
Biz is just as like talented, like talking shit and being on the mic. He'd be very good at building it up.
Yeah,
I love
no
the way
doubt.
Canadians talk shit. God, it is.
All right,
the
let's hit
best
this
shirt.
last ad read. I found an incredible website that you have to check out. Nuts.com. Thank you, Nuts, for sponsoring this episode. Is the best kept secret of savvy snackers across the country.
Tough. We've all been there.
Nuts.com isn't just for nut lovers. It's your one-stop online pantry shop. I got a box of this stuff the other day. They have everything. They have like this white chocolate, these white chocolate macadamia nuts, these dark chocolate gummy bears.
Sounds delicious.
Different packs, variety of nuts all over the place. It's amazing. The simple and convenient way to have nutritious, delicious, and healthy nuts, dried fruit, flours, grains, and so many other high-quality foods delivered straight to your door. Over 4,000 products to choose from. Delicious, healthy, kid-family snacks like dried strawberries and custom trail mix, plus all the raw, organic, roasted, salted, and candied nuts you can imagine, even chocolate dip nuts. Easy to navigate website with great photos of the products, a family-run business that takes great pride in getting you the freshest nuts available. Nuts.com is your one-stop online pantry shop. Gluten-free and vegan options also available. Delivery is fast. Most orders ship the same day. Fresher products than the supermarket. New nuts.com customers get free shipping on your first order when you text Barstool to 64,000. So text Barstool, Barstool to 64,000 to get free shipping on your first order from nuts.com.
Do you have to do 64 dash?
Terms apply, available at nuts.com.
I think it's when you punch in the number.
It says, please read 64,000 for all mentions.
Oh, nice.
You know what?
You know what else? So you guys, when you're like, oh, is there a conflict of interest at Barstool? Whoever sold this, unless there's something I don't know, is a moron.
Why is that?
Because I am like a known nut person, like pistachios. Like I die for pistachios. If our salesperson had any sense of awareness, this would be an ad for me. I've actually bought nuts.com and talked about it, and these fools are giving them to you. So when you think,
So hang on, before you keep
So
going,
when
are
you
you
think-
jealous? Are you jealous?
no, I'm not jealous, but when people are like, oh, there's something going on, our salespeople, dumb in a lot of respects. Like you have the top guy. This is like, I've done like videos of taste tests of like pistachios, like wonderful pistachios. If you like wonderful pistachios, I think you're trash. I won't even look you in the eye. Like I can't take who somebody in the draft
Can't
said they
look
like
you in the eye.
who somebody did an ad for wonderful pistachios before the draft, and I was like, oh, I hope nobody drafts this fucking loser. I forget who it was. So I'm adamant about my nuts. Like we've had people send them, try them, and then we give the nuts ad to you guys. It makes no sense.
Right.
Well,
listen.
You are
Maybe
Barstool.
nuts.com couldn't afford you.
Yeah. Maybe they had a budget.
Who is the sales rep? Do we know for that?
I don't know who reps that.
I'm gonna find out.
For
They're
us?
gonna get an unfortunate phone call.
That who sells our stuff?
Who? Yeah.
I think it's MB.
That's tough. This is going to be a tough call.
MB said no, but she's not a salesperson. She's a sales she's the accountant.
That's what I'm saying. We have a couple people that like just work on our stuff that we talk to. I don't know. who
MB's
they say.
awesome, so I doubt it's her. Did you sell? Who sells nuts.com? It's probably Sausage.
Hey, someone's getting them hands over nuts.com.
You
Good
see
for
that?
you,
Crazy.
nuts.com. Good for you.
It's crazy.
Well, hey, nuts.
I only
disagree.
have like 5
Nuts.
things that I'm interested in. One of them happens to be like pistachio nuts.
Yeah.
They are very fucking good.
Speaking of things you're interested in, pizza. Like
Yeah.
where it was Nashville, did it hold a candle?
No, yeah, 2 very good spots.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm supposed to go 2 more. We taled about it a little bit before. I think we were recording them, but Will tried to like forbid me from going to one of the
That was
spots.
tough. That was a hard thing to walk into. That was a hard thing to walk into with you guys. That was hard.
What do you mean
I
I'm
was
forbidden?
not trying to.
We can cut it, but where'd you go?
I went to Joey's House of Pizza in 5 Points.
How
How
did you
was
like
it?
5 points?
I liked it a lot.
Wow, he's a big 5 points
It's
guy.
very
5 points
traditional. Like
Yeah.
you're not. I could eat it every day. This Joey's is heavy, but good. It was light, good. It felt like a very traditional New York pie. I thought it was very good.
Where else you going? You going to Mafiosa's?
No, the other 2 that I want to go to were the bakery, Desano's Bakery,
People love Desano's. People hit Desano's.
and then there's a new one. Do you remember? Slim and Husky.
that would have been a solid one to go to.
So those are the other 2. We'll see what we
Slim
got.
and Huskey's like a flatbread place, right?
Build your own too.
yeah, that's a
At
build.
Slim and Huskies?
That's the one that I didn't want to give you that one because it's like a build your
Try
own.
Manny's. It's his brother.
What do you mean you build your own? You can't just say cheese and be done with it?
Yeah,
No,
but
I
they-
think you can't.
go
I
like,
think
what
you
do
can
want
say
on it?
cheese.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never been to
It's
really
a good
Slim and
spot.
Huskey's.
It's a good spot. You just it's like an and pizza.
And one. Yeah.
Yeah, no
You know what I'm talking about?
Somebody told me there's 2 guys that like met in jail or something.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
shit.
Oh yeah, they have a big history
Yeah.
because it's black owned. They started over in where was the first one at?
the guy driving us was the Uber was trying.
Yeah, in North Nashville, and they just opened another one downtown on
I think they
Fifth
got
and
3
Avenue.
locations. So
Yeah.
those are the 2. We'll see what happens. I mean, this was great. I've done so much pizza, like the Joey's House of Pizza. The family, the husband, the wife, the son, and the mother were all working there, which I love. I love when it's like family run. And the Stephanie was the one who banned me, was working 1,000,000 miles per hour. But I mean, she was happy I was there. I think she just knew. She said she watched every single review I've ever done.
Yeah.
So I think she was aware that the type of pizza I like is not the type that they make. And she's right. So there's only a certain score you can get to just because it's that style is not my style. So I did it. I ate it. She asked what the score was and she demanded a rematch, which I've never had.
Really?
I'm like, what do you mean a rematch?
I don't
She's
know what
like,
that means
let me
either.
make you another one. So we sat there for another 45 minutes waiting for another pizza.
Did it change anything?
Not really.
Did you tell her that to her face?
No, I didn't go back in because I didn't want to go fucking round 3. Like, thrilling
Well,
them
if you
in.
go 0-2, you kind of
Yeah,
gotta
it's
move
like,
on.
well, we got to get here. But their Sicilian slice was spectacular. One of the best Sicilians I've ever had.
At Joey's.
Yep. 8.5 I gave this Sicilian.
Wow.
It was spectacular.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
That is good.
It was spectacular.
I've actually never had Joey's until now. I just knew like
What?
Blas was a huge fan, and everyone's.
Then how did you get in contact with the Stephanie girl?
Because on my
tweeted at him.
Instagram, I said he needs to go to Joey's House of Pizza.
At Joey's House of Pizza, probably.
Yeah,
Tagged it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you were like friends with this person.
No, they just said, "Hey, thank you very much. We would like to politely decline because we don't want." They said we don't want the spotlight, and I was like, I respect that. I was like, that saddens me, but I respect it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to just pass that message. Hey, they didn't want you to come in because they're only open from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. 5 days a week. They're not open on weekends. They're not open before or after any of it.
Yeah, they probably get
So I'm
bombarded on the
thinking
weekends.
that the popularity he's going to bring to it, they just don't have they wouldn't have like the capacity to handle all these people.
Mafioso's is another place. Does anybody eat pizza
You
there?
can't, like, the
Mafioso's?
way you did
Boss,
it-
You never been there?
Not sure
place
what
hits.
pizza spots you have in mind, but Joey's House Pizza messaged me saying that you appreciate but didn't want the spotlight. I thought you were friends, and then I just wrote back, they don't get to choose. You know.
I love that.
I mean, how am I going to go to a city in the most recommended place that has 100 reviews on the app? I'd look
That's-
like a fool.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. I'm not going to let fucking come into Nashville and let fucking
Get the
Will,
fuck out
make
of
me
here,
look.
dude.
What? That's his name. No,
Yeah,
I know. Make
Will.
me look like a fool.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Before we get out of here, talk a little bit about Erika.
What about her?
How much she's influenced, helped
So she's been like
Barstool.
the perfect hire for us. You know,
Because she beat like 85 people, right?
Yeah, so when I sold half of Barstool to a company called Churning Group in 2016, and we were like 10 or 15 people at the time, and we knew we sucked at business. So part of the deal was let's hire a CEO, build out the business side, and Churning hired a very like high-powered recruiting firm, basically. So we got, I think, 70 candidates, all male. Didn't like any of them, none of them. And I met Erika. We actually also had an advisor. So it was a woman, I spent a lot of time in Nantucket, and this lady was the CEO of Huffington Post, also went to Nantucket, got introduced. She's like, hey, I can help through the early stages, got a little share of like tiny little bit of equity, and she'd be like a sounding board for me. She was in New York, across the street from where I live. She's like, I'm in town, you want to grab lunch? Coffee, excuse me. So I'm like, sure, went. Coffee. She's like, oh, by the way, there's a friend of mine with me, Erika Nardini. And so I met Erika just by happenstance there. And Erika and I just hit it off. She loved Barstool, huge Patriot fan. And we were just talking about the business, where it was going. And everything she said was how I felt. And she was very different from all the guy candidates because she never was like, you have to change this. You have to do this. You should do this. She's like, man, there's so many opportunities. That's all. She's like, you can go any way you want to go with it. And that's kind of how I viewed it. And then she met all the guys. And from there, it was like every step of the way. She had her own company. She had just started. Churnin called. I called Churnin after I met him. Like, have you guys heard of Erika Nardini? Like, yeah, she's great. Like, I just met her. She'd be perfect. So they reached out, and, you know, she's been everything because I think for her, in a lot of respects, you know, Barstool's so polarizing, even though it shouldn't be. Maybe it's become less, but she's just ride or die like everybody else. Like, doesn't apologize. I love it. Like, I need somebody who doesn't apologize when we don't think we've done things wrong. Doesn't mean we haven't, but I don't want fake apologies. Like, you know, let's do us. And if we're wrong, we're fucking wrong, but we're just doing it and we're trying to make people laugh. And we believe in like the character of the company. And she stood behind it 100%. And brought a degree of, you know, I think when it was just me, people didn't know what to think. It's hard to do content and business because people had this, they're like, this guy's a madman. He's just going to like blow me up. They're not trying to take it to the next level. But when we went from Churnin and then Erika, I think it helped a lot to bring, you know, the credibility that you need to take it to the next level. Yeah. Which is where we're at, times 100.
She's crushed it with the whole, what is it, Let Them Play?
Yeah, that was great. That was Riggs. Great job by him. A lot of things. That's another constant thing I love about Barstool. The Let Her Play will be one of them. The Barstool Fund's another. If we raise charity, which you've done a million times, I always see tweets. I may not agree with Barstool, but you can't deny this. And it's like, well, how many times are you going to say that about 100 different things until maybe that's Barstool? Yeah. If you keep saying that over and over, like, say what you want about Barstool, but this, say what you want about Barstool, but this, and they're always great things. Like, that's us. Like, that's who we are.
Right.
And it was before the spotlight was on. Like I was in Boston during like the Boston Marathon bombings. We raised, and we were way smaller. We raised $250,000 to buy a guy who lost his leg a new house, Mark Fucarilli. We did the bombing at, I think it was Pulse nightclub, Orlando, that gay nightclub, Caleb, and raised like over $100,000 every time throughout the history of Barstool where like a police officer was slain in like the line of duty or something happened, firefighter in Boston and then New York. We did fundraisers, $100,000 minimum every time, selling like t-shirts. So we've done it on and on. People just choose to focus on what they want to choose, to focus
Right, the
on.
negative shit.
Yeah, right. And there's not that much negative. The negative shit will be like, I didn't like the joke he made in 2004. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Well,
Well,
thanks for coming on, bro.
hell of a pod.
All
Great
right.
work.
Appreciate you coming last minute and being on episode 100. of
That's a big
100
deal for
Boys.
us.
Well,
You know?
it's a big deal that I came. I realized it was a big deal 100. So I'm glad I got to do it.
Yeah.
Good deal.
All right,
All right.
that's it, boys. Big shout out to you guys. If you enjoyed this episode and love and support Bussin' with the Boys, go to whatever podcast platform you're on and subscribe to us. Leave a review, rate 5 stars. If you're already subscribed, unsubscribe and resubscribe again. It helps the boys climb the charts. And again, we wouldn't be doing this and can't do this without you guys and all of your support. We also have a YouTube channel. If you'd like to watch our show or these episodes, they're on YouTube at Bussin' with the Boys. We're also on social media at Bussin' WTB. You can follow us everywhere. Go buy our merch. You guys know that whole deal. But thank you so much. We are forever grateful for you. The biggest of hugs and tiniest of kisses for the boys, always and forever.